When you're up against the wall and you cannot fall, so go off, go off, go off, go off, so go off, go off, go off, go off. When you're running out of luck, need to get unstuck, so go off. When you're up against the wall and you cannot fall, so go off, go off, go off, go off, so go off, go off, go off.
great racetracks, there's historic racetracks, and then there's WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Nestled in the hills of Northern California, there's no better proving ground for anyone aiming to validate their abilities in racecraft, and no worse place to not take speed seriously. The tight hairpins, the drastic elevation changes, the legendary corkscrew turn. It's a location on any race fan's list of places they've got to see. And for the drivers of the Trans Am Series, it's their next obstacle in their path towards racing immortality. Win here and you're a legend, but get blindsided by aspirations for even a second, and being passed is just the beginning of your troubles. Who's next to tame Laguna Seca? Stay here to find out as we come to you live from Monterey, California. It's the Trans Am Series, presented by Pirelli. Welcome to the beautiful Monterey Peninsula, the central coast of Northern California, and we have come into town with the Mission Foods Speed Tour for round 5 of Trans Am presented by Pirelli. A spectacular setting at the racetrack and in town as we get ready for a tremendous day of racing with 900 horsepower American muscle car beasts. The setting all around this racetrack just spectacular, and of course we top it all off with Mission Foods turns 8 and 8A, known as the world famous corkscrew. Hi everybody, Ralph Sheheen with you alongside the president of Trans Am presented by Pirelli, Andy Lally. And Andy, we have some breaking news at the beginning of the day here. Our pole sitter, Brent Cruz, not going to be racing with us today.
Good news, though, Boris said, legendary Boris said, his son was racing in the TA2 race yesterday. He's filling in. He'll be in the 2-car, starting shotgun on the field. So that's going to be quite a challenge for Boris. I spoke to him this morning. He's up for it. This is his home state. He loves this track. Has obviously raced Trans Am here before. So looking forward to a good show. That'll be, front end of the grid to the back end of the grid is going to be pretty wild.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see the Hall of Famer back behind the wheel, Boris said. It has been a thrilling weekend of racing here already. We also had a great event just a week ago at Sonoma Raceway where we had some issues with some cars, Adam Andretti's car and David Pinteric's car coming together. Both of those cars destroyed, but they're both racing with us today.
Yeah, pretty wild here. We've obviously there's been a lot of drama in this class last week at Sonoma. It was amazing. We had great battles here, a tight points battle here, quite mixed up from what we might think it would be at this point in the season, but looking forward to another hard race here today.
You know, we kicked the season off at Sebring Raceway, and of course there's so much history with that venue. That's where Trans Am started. But then Laguna Seca opened up in 1969, and when it did, Trans Am was here. The Trans Am Series first raced at Laguna Seca back in 1969 during the golden era of muscle cars and factory-backed race teams. Legendary drivers such as Parnelli Jones and Dan Gurney competed in Trans Am events at Laguna Seca during the late 60s and early 70s, with the late great Mark Donohue winning that very first race here in a Penske Hilton Sunoco-backed Camaro. The early Trans Am races were run on Laguna Seca's original 1.9-mile configuration before the track was lengthened to 2.2 miles in 1988 so that the track could host the 500cc Grand Prix Motorcycle World Championship. After a hiatus, the Trans Am Series returned to Laguna Seca in 1983, coinciding with a resurgence of interest in the series. Laguna Seca has hosted modern Trans Am races including Trans Am, TA2, and GT classes as part of the West Coast Championship. In the 2010s, Laguna Seca became a staple of Trans Am's push to expand its presence on the West Coast, drawing local and national drivers. The track has also often hosted the historic Trans Am Exhibition Series during events like the famed Rolex Monterey Motorsports Reunion, showcasing original cars that raced in the series during the 1960s and 70s. The most famous corner at Laguna Seca is the legendary corkscrew. Turns 8 and 8A at the highest point on the racetrack Coming up to a blind left-hand corner, the track suddenly almost makes a 90-degree turn to the left and then drops 4 stories down an elevator shaft to the bottom right-hander called Turn 8A. You then shoot across a short straightaway to the famed rainy curve at Turn 9. What a circuit, huh, Andy?
This place is amazing. I've been fortunate to be coming here for almost 30 years now. Wild races, incredible track. You know, we talk about the corkscrew a lot because that's the picture. That's the hot spot. That's where your stomach drops out from underneath you. But really, it's the corner after that for me. Turn 9, that super fast downhill left-hander. That's the racer's corner right there.
Yep, Turn 9, named after the legendary Wayne Rainey, 3-time 500cc Grand Prix world champion, who lives just across the hills on the other side of 68. That corner named after Wayne. What a corner it is. Tommy Dracy's ready to go in his trench-shoring Camaro, as are we when we come back live on Speed Sport 1.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Welcome back to Laguna Seca here in the Monterey Bay Peninsula area as we get ready to go racing with Trans Am presented by Pirelli. And boy, you can feel the energy and the intensity ratcheting up quickly as we get ready to fire up these 900 horsepower machines and go racing at Laguna. So let's go trackside, get things underway. Here's the third member of our broadcast team. Here's Ben Sissel.
Well, thank you very much, Ralph. I'm here at the grid, here in the TA class with TA Cup, XGT, SGT, and GT. I'm looking around. I'm not seeing a lot of drivers right now, but we'll walk back through, come back to the back, move our way up to the front, make some fun of this. But I've got Paul Menard here in the number 3. Next to him is Chris Dyson. These two were battling it out all year long last season. For the championship, Paul Menard came out on top. New livery this season with the Pittsburgh paints and stains, the Premier, but he's with 3GT Racing. Very fast. Well, here's Paul Menard right here. Let's talk to Paul by the car. Here we go. So we've got some Paul Menard fans here. Oh, the family's here. I love it. So at Laguna Seca, and I know that this is a track you don't have a lot of experience, so did you get to go out in the Paul Menard stock car or only the TA car?
No, the schedule didn't work out to go out in the other car. So it kind of came in, obviously woke up Saturday morning with rain on the track. Just ran the whole session, tried to learn the lines and all that, and went off into qualifying. The car felt pretty good, made a couple changes overnight, but cool track, a lot of fun. I've never been to Laguna before. The corkscrew is always a bucket list item for me, so we're running that now. Feeling good about everything going on today with Chris and I up front here again. It's going to be a battle.
Nice. Yeah, look at that. Dyson and Menard up front. I love it. But the family's here, right? So we got to talk to Remy because she always gives us good content. Remy, you got to talk to me because what you said at Winter Circle at Sebring was amazing. I missed you guys, Bo and Remy, at Sonoma, but we're at Laguna Seca. Your dad doesn't have a lot of experience here, but he's up front. What are you expecting from this race?
I don't know. He's probably going to win.
All right, he's probably going to win. Bo, what are you thinking?
Well, he's probably going to win.
All right. Any advice?
Don't crash. Don't crash and stay positive.
Don't crash, stay positive, Paul. I hope you heard that. You good with that? That's pretty good racing advice, right?
Good advice. I'm not good at that very often, so I'm going to listen to them and take that to heart.
I love it. I love it. So driving coaches there. We can add that to the resume. So we come back here, and if you tuned in last week, we had a pretty bad collision between David Pinteric and Adam Andretti. I happened to be at Adam Andretti's pit when that happened with Burton Racing. Stevie Dix and Dyson Racing kept coming up to him. Don't worry about it. Whatever you need, we can put you up in a shop at Greg Pickett's shop. We're going to help you out. Well, they worked out something. So Masood, who made Masood, who's usually in this car, Dyson teammate, wasn't able to come out. They reached out to Adam Andretti. They've made a deal. So competitors are now teammates, but still competitors. And that is going to be really cool to see. So they even put Topliner on the side of the car for Adam Andretti so you can keep his sponsorship and Burton Racing happy. So Dyson, you guys, thank you so much for doing that. That's going to make for some interesting storylines here. Then we come over here, Tommy Dreesy with Trent Shoring. Doing really well. It was third on the podium at Sonoma. Tommy Dreesy is hungry for the top step. I'm seeing something different in the preparation and the mental game that Tommy Dreesy's playing, and I think we're going to see him. Then we were talking about David Pinteric and all the hustle that it takes. So David Pinteric, same thing, was in that off with Adam Andretti at turn 10. But the winning spirit, so he was on the podium with us at Road Atlanta just a few weeks ago, stepped off the podium and he said, I guess now I got to come to California. You're out here, but I love the hustle because obviously from the off at Sonoma, you weren't going to get that car ready. So how did you do this?
Well, when it happened, a number of people had reached out to our team to help us out. And I took the red eye home to Cleveland. And when I got home and opened the phone, there was dozens of texts with solutions. And Tony Ave and I are best friends, and he offered me his car, and I had to say yes, and he was here on Wednesday, ready to go, and the guys worked the trash to get it ready to go, and here we are.
You seem a little bit somber, though, man. You got to get up. We're about to be racing. You're at Laguna Seca.
It's all focus. It's all focus.
All focus. Game face. Not somber, but game face, right? Well, Pinteric, thank you so much for the hustle. Love having you out here. Beautiful car. We've seen Gar Robinson in this car. We've seen Brent Cruz in this car. And now David Pinteric. Now we got to come over here to Cole. So we go to the TA Cup class. Where is Cole? Here he is, coming over here in this cowboy hat. He was with us in the TA2 series, but running TA Cup. But I have to brag on him. He's super fast. I believe you've hit now the fastest speed in a TA Cup car under the bridge. Fastest laps, I think you broke the TA Cup record here. So how does that feel?
Oh, man, I'm so excited. This is one of the funnest weekends I've ever had. So just thanks to my dad, thanks to Chris Evans, Jess Jefferson. Hopefully we put on a great show today.
Nice. I love it. And we had some questions. These TA Cup cars, what I'd say is kind of like a really great marriage between a TA GT1 car and a TA2 car. They're on TA2 bodies, but they can do some things with the aero. The engines are more like TA class cars, but they're a little bit restricted. How do you describe them?
Yeah, it's just a beefed up TA2 car. Everything's more extreme, a lot more power, a lot more downforce, more tire. It gets your attention really fast. So it took me a few sessions for sure to get up to speed, but I'm just excited, man. This is a blast.
Nice. I love it. And then his dad is also going to be running out there. So we've got two Moores out there, Andy and Ralph. That's going to get kind of confusing, but Cole very fast in this car. His dad, where is his dad? I don't see his dad out here. But we've got Derek Thorne. Derek, wait, first we got to show this. You got to show the jacket. Look at these jackets that they had made with Chris Evans Inc., The Road to Glory, the TV show. You're out here in this beautiful power grade red Mustang. How does it feel?
It's a blast. I'm coming from a circle track background, so it's been interesting to get used to these cars, but it's a blast to drive. You know, the tires, the motors, these things are just, they're in the racetrack, and they're awesome to be behind the wheel of.
I love it. But you're out here with some more circle track guys, with John Moore, you know, kind of a legend in that. So you're not like a fish out of water with that.
No, we're not. You know, John used to be teammates with John and Cole, so it's cool to be here to see the circle track presence of this track and to be here around Laguna Seca. It's such a historic place, and to be here with Chris Evans and Jeff Jefferson and these guys here in the TA Cup class. Looking forward to putting on a show for the fans.
I love it. Well, good luck out there. Derek Thorne in the beautiful 08 with the Power Grade ink. Now we'll come over here. Ken Sutherland, who had kind of a crazy race at Sonoma, thought he was doing everything right. Perfect gentleman race car driver. You thought you were letting lap traffic by. You were in your own race, and then it turns out they were on the lap with you. So now you've got some fighting to do to get back on the top, huh?
Yeah, for sure. We won't make that mistake again. We didn't know what the rule was right there, and we thought we were just going to let those guys go by to avoid contact, knowing they would be desperate to get their lap back. And so now we won't make that mistake again.
You've been running with us in the TA2 series for many years, but now you're in TA Cup, the lone Mopar. But I've always loved the Dodge bodies of these things. And this class is growing, and I know you've raced everything, but how do you describe TA Cup?
Well, it's like TA2 on steroids. A lot more power, it's more grip, more brakes. It's a great car to drive. Jeff Jefferson, Jerry Pitts, and these guys have done just an awesome job of making these cars handle, and very, very equal. And so super happy to be driving one.
I love it. Well, there you go. TA2 car on steroids. That's a pretty good description. Absolutely love it. Love the Dodge Challenger with Kahlberg Racing. Then we come over here. We've got Jim Guthrie here. I'm gonna talk to Jim, but two-time Trans Am champion Amy Ruman with the Valley Automotive Chevy Network dealers, the McNichols Metals Service Centers. This beautiful red Corvette. Ralph, I know you love the Corvettes, but Amy, back at Laguna Seca, this has been a pretty crazy 10, 11 days here, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's not a lot of track time. We came to California to see the sun, and finally came out a little bit today. We've had a lot of rain and not a lot of track time. So we had a good session yesterday. Just needed about 5 more laps to dial it in. But I think we're going to move up today. We should have a good race.
Yeah, what happened, we had a limited schedule. So usually they get 2 or 3 practices, then a qualifying. But you got a short practice, qualifying, and now we're racing.
Yeah, practice rained yesterday morning, so we didn't go out at all. So the first time we were on the track was in qualifying. And so, I haven't been here in a couple, 3 years. So just like I said, a little bit slow on the uptick, but we'll be good today.
How about that, Amy Ruman, 2-time Trans Am champion. Thank you so much. Now we come over here, Jim Guthrie, the winner of the Sonoma race and TA Cup. Has tons of experience in IndyCar, won at Phoenix in IndyCar. But something about these cars, Jim, because I know you're also a TA2 competitor, seems like this suits you very well.
I think it's the tire, actually. It's a lot more responsive, a lot more lateral grip. And, back in the 80s, I drove an old Jack Roush car, and it reminds me of the go-kart on steroids. I mean, it is a fun car to drive.
So what would be the main huge differences coming out of your TA2 into a TA Cup? What are some of the things that somebody that doesn't know anything like I do, what would be the big differences?
Lateral grip and brakes. This thing has huge brakes compared to a TA2 car. So, and of course the tires are wider in the front and the rear. They're a square set, so they're the same size. So I'd say the tires and the brakes are a big difference.
I love it. Now, I got to give you a hard time. You know I like my awkward questions. the presentation of Guthrie's Garage in your TA2. You've always got the best looking cars, the best paint jobs. I know this was kind of last minute, but are we going to see a Guthrie's Garage on this finish sometime this season?
Maybe. We'll see what the boss says about that.
I love it. Yeah, he always has the most beautiful cars. Paint shop, PPG, one of your big supporters, is that right?
Absolutely. PPG is awesome for us. Thank you.
Well, there you go. Jim Guthrie, Guthrie's Garage. They build some beautiful, beautiful cars. Michelle Nagai. Man, we got to talk to Michelle. She's praying right now with Bill Knox. So we're going to come over here. Franklin Road Apparel, Ken Twaits, our Chevy. So we've got the big three represented in TA Cup. We've got the Challenger, Ken Sutherland. We've got a lot of Mustangs, but we've got our two Chevys back here. Ken, how's it feel?
Well, we like to give those Fords and Mustangs and the Dodge a head start because we're Chevy. So we'll be up there here in a minute.
I love it. I love it. So you've run everything. We were talking about this at Sonoma. The only podium he hasn't been on is Trans Am GT with your podium there at Sonoma. How do you describe these things?
These TA Cup cars are awesome. They're like a TA car, a little less brutal, but they're fast, man, and they race good. All this group, these drivers are really, really fast and good, know what they're doing, so they're fun to race with.
I love it. Well, Ken Twaits, have some fun out there. Let's come talk to Michelle Nagai, who was just on fire at Sonoma with this last weekend. Michelle, also from TA and TA2, and I kind of feel like Goldilocks, like it's just right here in TA Cup. Is that what's going on?
That's what's going on, for sure. It's just right here in TA Cup.
And how do you describe this thing?
It's got the big fat tires. It's got a decent amount of horsepower. We could always use more. Everybody wants more horsepower. But until then, it's a maneuverable car. It's fast, and we're pretty good with it. Nice. Yeah. So we got Nate Motorsports, Tony Caputo, put an unbelievable setup on it for Sonoma. We didn't get to test here, missed our practice, weren't so hot in qualifying, but I think we can redeem ourselves in the race. Yeah.
It's a 100-mile sprint race, which seems kind of counterintuitive to say 100-mile sprint race, but everybody's kind of on the same line in the fact that they didn't get a lot of practice, didn't get great qualifying, but it's kind of a long race, so if you make it through the first lap, usually you could start to kind of spread out, let it come to you, and then you start making the passes.
Yes, absolutely. It's a long race, let's face it. 75 minutes, like you said. It takes a while to get through traffic. It takes a while. You hit the lappers. You got to be patient and just keep it on the track. It's quicksand out there if you don't.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Michelle Nagai going to be running out there. Then we're coming back here to some of the GT classes. We've got SGT. We've got GT, we've got XGT, a little bit of everything. Josh Carlson, all the way from the Iowa area, in this Enceva, the reliable, flexible, powerful. We had dinner the other night, though. I just want to point out, he's a DoorDasher. So DoorDash, if you're watching, you need to be on this car. You have a professional race car driver here as a DoorDasher when he's home. So don't you think that's a good idea, Josh?
I think so. I mean, I don't have anybody complaining that their food shows up late with DoorDash, so I guess my racing is definitely translating to my door dashing. So,
I love it. And your rating is good?
Yeah, it's a 4.9, so the customer's supposed to be pretty happy with me. So,
nice. I love it. Well, he's out here in this beautiful SGT. How are you liking Laguna Seca so far?
I like it. It's definitely a challenging track. Going down the corkscrew is definitely really fun. That 3-story drop is definitely gets those feelings in your stomach. So I've had a lot of fun around here.
Nice. I love it. Josh Carlson out here in the front in the GT classes with last year's champion, Chris Coffey, with the family, out here in this beautiful traffic graphics Maserati. How's it feel to be at Laguna Seca?
Oh, I was looking forward to sunny California, and it hadn't quite been sunny yet, but the sun's starting to come out, and I'm really looking forward to running this track. We only have, I think 10 laps on the track, so we're still learning, but I think we're fast, and it's going to be fun.
Nice. I love it. Chris Coffey out there in GT. Let's come back here and talk to Coos. This is only his third start in Trans Am and was running really well at Sonoma until he was basically taken out. I'm surprised you guys really did a lot of hustling to get back out here representing the Porsche Cup cars. How is Laguna Seca?
It's definitely one of my favorite tracks. This is considered my home track. I have a lot of laps on here. I haven't actually raced here since we got the new rubber on the exits, so I'm still kind of getting used to that. You can go and track out, and it's pretty amazing. I'm happy to have at least a couple competitors here. I've got Rudy, who kicks ass down here in his Grand Prix car. I've got Josh, who's faster than, bat out of Hades in the Ford Mustang. So my goal is to just kind of run between those two guys and try to keep it tight in second place. And also happy to have some Italians. But I am the only German today, so we're trying to get more German cars out here. That's the goal.
I love it. I love it. And we know there's a bunch of these Porsche Cup cars around. So we need to do that. Exactly. We've got Chris Evans here, the builder with Jefferson Racing of these beautiful TA Cup cars. Cole's dad, John Moore, back here. And John, I'm just going to fully insult you. I was expecting you to be way more up front. What's going on?
Yeah, we had a little failure with our power plant, but we're all good now. We're all good. We laid down a motor and on the outlap, basically a qualifying, and I got it to pit lane. I hustled back to the trailer. I looked at my phone. I'm like, Seymour P1. That cushioned the blow quite a bit.
Nice. I love it. Well, now, last lap, side by side into some of these corners. Do you trust going side by side with Cole Moore into some of these corners here?
Oh, I don't mind buying stickers.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Cowboy John Moore just telling us like it is. So, Rudy Revac back here in this beautiful singular car, but I've got to come back. So, Pancho Weaver back at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca with Boris Said, who stood on the podium with you here just a couple years ago in this very car. Boris, your son was out there in TA2 yesterday, and you thought, that looks like too much fun. I got to go give this a try again.
Well, I was actually all the way back home in San Diego when Pancho called. So
what are you doing? Get back in the plane. Let's go.
I said, so do I get any practice? He goes, no. But, we got a really cool car to drive. I've been racing with Pancho for 25 years. This is year 39 for me racing. So we got great people, John Cloud, Steal It, and Householders, a really cool off-road team. So the chances of me running at the front today are pretty slim. I mean, I haven't been in a car in a year. And these cars are beasts, they're almost 900 horsepower. And to get on that 1010, you need a little bit of time. So I'm hoping the yellows fall right the first half of the race. I can just get used to it, know what gears, where to brake, and then, maybe a miracle will happen and I'll be competitive in the second half.
I love it. I love it. Now, wait, what are we seeing here? Oh, you changed your name legally? Is that what's going on here?
No, Pancho said you got to call a spade a spade. So it's two old guys and a young kid running this team. So, yeah, I am the old dude, but I'm going to have a blast today no matter what.
Nice. I love it. Well, good luck out there. Now, the good news is pretty much everybody in this field has had very little practice on the track and, qualifying. So, you're even. So let's walk back up through here to the front as we go up to deliver the invocation. But as I walk up to the front, I'm going to send it back up to you in the booth, guys.
Old dude over the door for Boris.
Hey, I did an Xfinity race against Boris a few years ago, and I was really psyched when he entered the race. I didn't know he was going to enter the race because at the moment I was the oldest guy in there, and I got to tease him that I got knocked off the top there. But have no fear, everybody. Boris is still Boris. He's still on the gas and going to be on it. And I think if he gets lucky and can catch a yellow midway here and kind of re-rack once he's come through the field, it's going to be an interesting show.
He only knows one way to go, right? Hammer down.
Exactly. That's Boris all day.
It's going to be fun to watch, and we're going to fire the engines here in just a minute. So stay right where you are live here on Speed Sport 1. Trans Am presented by Pirelli coming up.
and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Well, there it is. Mission Foods Corkscrew, the most famous photo location at this racetrack and maybe any racetrack in the world when you think about it. Well, Cinco de Mayo is tomorrow, so we're celebrating a little bit early here at Laguna Seca. Of course, may the 4th be with you, Andy.
Thank you. I was just going to mention that to my Star Wars fans out there.
Well, the Trans Am Series, I mean, it's going to rock the Monterey Bay here when they fire these 900 horsepower engines up. They are a blast to drive if you're a racer and a thrill to watch if you're a race fan. So we stopped by to talk with the reigning champ Paul Menard and, of course, Adam Andretti, who led the points early this season, to find out what makes a Trans Am car so cool.
So I ran my first TA race in, I think it was like 2002 or 2003. So a long time ago, ran probably 5 or 6 races with Mike Davis and ACS Express, teammates with Boris Said. And then life turned course and did more oval racing for a career, made a career out of it. But I always loved the TA cars. I grew up road racing in go-karts. Again, started when I was 8 years old, and I didn't run my first oval until I was, I think, 16. So, you know, my background, my first love was road racing, and this is just, you know, we always hear about how cool the cars are. That's no joke. I mean, they're 900 horsepower, no gimmicks, no ABS, no traction control, just raw stock car with wings and, you know, some cool aero effects and good looking cars.
The cars are the most, that's what I don't understand, like why we don't have 50 of them every week, because it's the most exciting race car to drive. If you love driving a race car, you are missing out by not driving a Trans Am car. It's as plain as that. And every driver that's ever sat behind the wheel of one will tell you the same thing. And I don't get how these people will spend 10 times the money to go run a GT3 car. I guess they don't want to drive a real race car, because you could throw a license plate on those things and they could drive them to the grocery store. Because in all reality, that to me is not pure. When you're sitting in a car that's raw and just feeds you energy all the time, and you don't turn a dial for an air conditioner switch, and you don't pound the brake pedal and feel ABS, and you don't pound the gas pedal and feel traction control. There's something amazing about that. I mean, that's why everyone in the world should have ever gotten to become a driver. That's why when you're growing up, you want to be a driver, is because you grew up watching people do that. And then all of a sudden, that seems to be disappearing. And I don't want that to disappear. I want it to gain that exposure. So I don't mean to pick on any GT3 people out there, but come on, come Trans Am racing. It's more fun.
Well, Andy, I don't know if you, as new president of Trans Am presented by Pirelli, need a car salesman, but I think I know your guy if you do.
It's you know, and somebody fresh out of 20 years of GT3 racing.
Yeah.
I share his sentiment. I mean, it's the reason I'm here. That the TA and the TA2 classes are extraordinary fun, and you just can't beat it. You know, it is the ultimate. You know, it sounds cheesy, but it is the ultimate driving experience. You've just got so much horsepower putting to the ground. There's not another series where we have cars with this much horsepower on road courses, even on ovals. I mean, we've cranked it up, we've cranked the downforce in it, and we've taken away all the technology of the driver aids. And so it is all driver here, which is probably why we don't get that highest subscription, because maybe we brag about it so much that we're scaring guys off. But these are amazing cars. When you get drivers like Chris Dyson, like Paul Menard at the front of this field, and every one of them behind them, you know, they're going to tell you the same thing over and over again. Adam Andretti's an amazing commercial for Trans Am, but he's telling the truth. He's not making this up.
Yeah, these guys put on a fantastic show a weekend ago in Sonoma, and we're going to have a barn burner here today. Ben, we've talked enough about 900 horsepower. I want to hear some.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was unbelievable. We had the folkloreo dancers who are going to join us here in a little bit. But right now, we're going to start with our invocation. I'll have Blaine Bowers come over here, and we'll kind of rotate here. But the Reverend Blaine Bowers to deliver the invocation. Blaine, you're looking good, man. Thanks for coming back here. Love having you here at Laguna Seca. Take it away.
Okay, thank you. If everyone could bow their heads in reverence to the Lord right now. Heavenly Father, we come before you, and we give you thanks this beautiful day that you have given us. I would like to ask, Lord, that you would bring safety to all of the drivers, the vehicles, and to all of the staff here at Laguna Seca this day. And I ask that your purposes and that your favor would rest upon us, and that you would help us to follow in the steps that you have laid for us. We give you thanks this beautiful day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Blaine. Great to see you again. Have fun for the race. So we've got to come around here because we got to get a great shot of this. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Defense Foreign Language Institute, the Presidio of Monterey Color Guard. Unbelievable. And then to deliver the national anthem. And she has to have 2 mics. So Angela Hughes, you did such a fantastic job yesterday. Take it away, please.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, when we come back, we will have the command to fire up the engines. But first, we want to show you what it's like to get around Laguna Seca. The man to do it is sitting to my left. Here's Andy Lally, who took us for a tour earlier in the weekend.
All right, we are pulling out of pit lane onto the world-famous WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. You actually exit pit lane exiting turn 2. You skip the inside of turn 1 and 2 as you come through, and you are immediately right onto the race line as you enter 3. This is one of the coolest looking tracks
visually on the planet with some really exciting moments. You know, people talk about how amazing the corkscrew is, but in reality, it's the corner after it that's one of the most thrilling corners out here. Getting ready to start a lap at Laguna Seca here. It's a bit of an uphill climb out of the last corner to the start-finish line, and there is a slight kink around the corner that these Trans Am cars are going to be going well over 150 miles an hour as they crest the hill, get light right here. We can see we're parallel with the pit lane exit here. Coming into turn 1 here, we're approaching our Mission Foods turn 2. We're just going to apex the inside here, but get it to the outside and straighten up as much as we can. There's huge load on the right front tire as we're coming in here, and very easy to lock up that inside left front tire. This is a double apex turn 2, where we're going to bring it down, release that brake, let it rotate, pause, patience, patience, patience. Let the nose point so we can get the power one time, uninterrupted throttle. We tag that second apex, get on the power, and come out of the corner as quick as we can here. Hustle it back hard to the left side for turn 3. Just get the platform straight, light brake, turn it in early again, finding the backside of this curb. This is one of those corners where you get in early and then you try to hold the bottom for that extra car and a half. As we approach turn 4, it's very, very similar to 3, but just 20 miles an hour faster. We've got a quick approach, early turn in, hold the apex for a car and a half, let it all the way out. Treacherous exit here if you get it wrong. Really easy to snap hook it back to the inside and try to stay off that tire wall. Exit, straighten up, grab a gear, and we're heading up to turn 6. Probably one of the most challenging corners on this track. We've got some pretty basic markers here. My reference is usually the bridge in almost anything we're in. You up the hill, dip, compress, get back on that power, and fly out of what is probably just under a 90-degree corner. Again, you're swinging it back over to the left side as we prepare for the corkscrew. We want to straddle these curbs and straighten out our brake zone as much as possible. We're in the middle of our downshifts in the brakes. We're cresting a hill. The inside left front's going to get tight, and we turn in a huge amount of steering. Quick left, pause, quick right, drop 2-3 stories down the hill. Exiting, we get a lot of grip under compression as we exit the corkscrew, bring it back to the right, and now here's the most challenging corner on the course. Turn 9 at Laguna Seca. Early in, pick up some compression and some camber, get to power, bring it out. Again, hustle it back to the left. Your wheel's barely ever straight here. Just for a millisecond, you get the platform sorted out, and you turn into a downhill entry, turn 10. Bring it back over to the right again. Hard on the brakes just before the 3 marker. We're straightening it out. We know we've got a little dip and a little bit too much bump at the apex of 11, so we're going to wait, compress, get on that power, and use all this extra run out here to finish this lap and come up to our start-finish line again. And that's a lap at the amazing Laguna Seca Raceway.
Well done, Andy.
I watch that. I hate it every time. But it's fun to do. It's fun hanging with the guys. We were in a pickup truck there, so we had to get 2 different cameramen in it, and it was fun to make.
Well, the information was great, and the command will be wonderful too. Ben, take it away.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with the beautiful Folkloreo dancers. They put on such a great display for us this weekend. Have you guys had fun here?
Yes.
Now, I was trying to ask you some questions. How do you describe the dancing that you're doing?
I'd say it's more like traditional Mexican dance. We honor things such as culture, history. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like to represent my community, where my parents are from, while also giving an audience a show.
Nice, I love it. And with this being the Mission Foods Laguna Seca Speed Tour, the owner, CEO of Mission Foods was here to do the start command yesterday. You saw how it was done. Now, he told us to eat more Mission chips and tacos. You guys will give the most famous words in motorsports, the Folkloreo dancers here, just local. I love it. Are you guys ready to deliver? All right, here we go. Folkloreo dancers, you put on a great show the day before Cinco de Mayo. Deliver the most famous words in motorsports. Take it away.
Drivers, start your engines!
What a sound. 900 horsepower American V8s rumbling to life. as we get ready for round 4 of the Trans Am presented by Pirelli Championship for 2025. Green flag on Speed Sport 1 after this.
Yes. Hon, the WeatherTech's here.
WeatherTech is the ultimate protection for your vehicle. Laser measured floor liners, no drill mud flaps, cargo liner, bump step, seat protector, and cup phone.
What about my car?
WeatherTech.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance, priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
Good look at Fisherman's Wharf down along the Monterey Bay. Cannery Road, just a mile or so away from there. Some of the famous scenes if you come to visit the Monterey Bay Peninsula area. But you have to come by and check out WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. At Sebring, we kicked things off just like we did back in 1966. And this one was a thriller with Brent Cruz getting around Paul Menard to take the lead here. And Andy, it looked at that point like Cruz might be the guy.
It looked like it was smooth sailing, but Menard kept it up. We had a mechanical issue for the 70 car, a huge issue, a big crash for the 16, and that shook everything up. That puts Paul Menard back in the lead. Adam Andretti chasing.
Yep, this is where Cruz has his mechanicals. That was Chris Dyson crashing hard, missing the next race at Road Atlanta. But Paul Menard was able to hold off Adam Andretti and take the win with Amy Ruman, rounding out the podium. Then we went on to Road Atlanta, and Cruz again at the front with Brabham driving in place of Chris Dyson, and Matt Brabham did a great job.
An absolute epic battle and a great show of sportsmanship between them because they were side by side for quite a long period of time. They were reeling in the leader. The leader ended up breaking here. We see Brent jumping over the wall. Sad they had some sort of driveline failure. Paul Menard also follows with a failure on the left front. That puts Adam and Brabham out front to duel it out again.
And at the checkers, Matt Brabham would take the win. Adam Andretti would take second, and the points lead rolling out of Road Atlanta. Then we went on to Sonoma, just north of here, a couple hours. Last weekend, wet weather challenge there as well that weekend. But up front, Paul Menard showing the way.
This was a classic Paul Menard, Chris Dyson battle that reignited from 2024. They obviously had different setups on the car. Dyson really kind of had a great battle also with Andretti and Cruz here. We had Menard that really took off, and then Chris was really reeling him back in there.
Yep. Cruz had mechanical issues, had to visit pit lane. And then the big crash between Andretti and Pinteric. Fortunately, both drivers able to walk away from this one.
Watch the height on
unbelievable.
Pinteric.
Unbelievable. Looked like a video game. And a testament to the safety innovations put into these Trans Am cars that both drivers able to walk away. And then the checkered flag fell. Paul Menard taking the win.
That was enough to put Paul Menard back on top of the points championship as well.
Yep. Tommy Dreese with a good day as well as he finished up on the podium. Menard taking the win and the points lead. Dyson comes back to get onto the podium as well. And now we're ready to go with round 4 of the championship for this year here at Laguna Seca. And this racetrack, Andy, you already gave us a tour from behind the wheel, but let's take a look at it with our graphics here as we take you around WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. At the start, you're automatically going uphill, cresting at turn 1, then setting up for Mission Foods turn 2, the famed Andretti hairpin.
Very tricky corner here. As these tires wear out, putting power down out of turn 2 is going to be your big challenge.
Through 3 and 4 through the infield setup for Cube 3 architecture turn 5, and then 6 heads you up the Rahal straightaway.
Faster and faster as we keep going through 3, 4, 5, and 6 progressively up to the most famous corner in auto racing, the Mission Foods corkscrew.
Then it's all downhill. 4-story drop from the top of 8 all the way down through Rainy at turn 9 through turn 10. Only corner with some banking really here. And then you come to Summit Racing Equipment, turn 11. That's the end of the drop from the top of the corkscrew. It's literally all downhill to there, and then you begin another lap. What a circuit.
Incredible place here. We can see on the onboard here, cars are coming up to the top of the corkscrew.
Riding along with Tommy Dreese in his trench shoring Motul-backed Camaro, number 8. Here's a look at our starting lineup. And we're getting ready to go to green. The lights are off on the Janetta safety car. They'll head for pit lane, and it'll be Dyson and Menard leading him off of 11 and getting this race underway. 100-mile sprint. Dyson on the inside of the Jim Weed Mustang. On the outside, the Pittsburgh Paints and Stains Ford Mustang of Paul Menard, the points leader. The multi-time champ Dyson alongside, and here we go, we're green in Laguna. Side by side, over the hill, headed to one, through 1, down to turn 2. Mission Foods turn 2, who's going to come out with the lead? Menard making some moves on the outside, squeezing Dyson down. Can he hold him going to 3? They make contact coming out of 2. Menard will take the lead going into 3 by a nose, and Dyson has to slide back to 2nd. Great racing early on, Andy.
Picking it up right where they left off at Sonoma, side by side again for the lead. These two obviously trying to stake a claim at that clean air in the front, but Tommy Dreese right there.
Yeah,
looking
and
again.
Andretti right behind him, and then Pinteric. But how difficult was it for Menard to make that pass on the outside on that opening lap?
That was gutsy. It took 2 to make that happen. Chris could have easily shoved him a little bit wide, tried to make a claim to that real estate on the exit, but again, these two have been racing so well and so clean together. Doesn't surprise me they're able to do that.
Down the elevator shaft of the corkscrew and headed downhill now. As Andy pointed out, speed picking up through the corners, down through 10. Now the big braking challenge at 11. If Dyson's going to counter, this is the spot. Summit Racing Equipment, turn number 11.
This is impressive on Menard. You know, if you weren't paying attention in the pre-race interviews, this is his first time racing at Laguna Seca here. Obviously, Chris has won here many times. The fourth most wins in Trans Am history for Chris Dyson. To have a guy like that on your tail the first time you're at Laguna Seca, definitely a challenge, definitely keeping the lead here a little bit tougher.
Especially since there's no place to catch your breath or calm your nerves.
Yeah, your steering wheel's barely ever straight here. You're going and going here. I think we're seeing Paul with a little bit understeer here because he missed 3 and he missed 4 by a tiny little bit. Still doing a good job here. Chris staying in tow. Chris, again, like we saw at Sonoma, kind of chill for the first bit. Probably knows he's going to wear off his tires here. More here than even at Sonoma. We've got some sun on the track today, probably the most track temp that we've had all weekend. And these guys got to take care of that right rear. You're going to come off a lot of fast right-hand corners here. Both of these rear tires, but for sure, they're taking care of their Pirellis at the start of this race.
Chris has a lot of experience here in a wide variety of race cars and has had great amount of success here as well as they come back down out of the hillside. Tracy and Andretti, Pinteric right there, and then we get into our TA Cup cars. Looks like Sutherland just in front of Moore.
Sutherland taking the lead from Moore at the start here. These TA Cup cars, we've got 8 of them here. Every week we see this class growing. Having them here at our national event is incredible here. The 85 and Moore here, 99. He ran in our TA2 race yesterday, did an amazing job, excellent job, had a great run through the field. It's tough to pull off doing the double here when you're doing the TA2 car and the TA Cup car. Again, Dyson kind of just riding. I mean, I know he's pushing. I know he's at least 99% here, just leaving enough on the table to maybe learn from Paul where his weaknesses are. Maybe might not be learning a line from Paul. Here's Boris coming through the back.
The old dude.
Yes, the old dude.
The old dude charging up through the field.
Self-proclaimed, working by Michelle right there.
Yeah, it goes by the Nagy car.
Boris has had 0 laps in this car for a year. Not just this weekend, for a year. So he's smart here, probably banking on a yellow at some point. If he can basically use the first half of this race as a practice session, get reacclimated with the car. This is a tough car to get reacclimated with on a track that doesn't have a lot of forgiveness offline a little bit. So he's going back through his marks, finding his way through the corkscrew there, and as he gets through the other classes here and can get to the tail end of the TA field, I know he's going to be hoping for a yellow so they can re-rack him, send it again.
He's already passed, what, 3 or 4, maybe 5 cars just to get to where he is. So he's coming to grips with this car pretty quick.
Yeah, and every car that he gets to is going to be a little trickier to get past. He's in the thick of the TA Cup field now and moving on up. But each one of these guys, obviously a little bit faster, he has to take a little bit more risk to get by.
Actually, he's passed much more than that.
Oh, yeah, he's halfway through the field already.
Yeah, he is. Oh, and one car done, it looks like the 92.
That's Chris Evans.
Yep, Chris Evans.
He's been the heart of this TA Cup field.
The driver out of, let's see, where's Chris?
He's out of California.
He's out of Powell Butte, Oregon, it
Oh,
says.
sorry. Yeah, I knew it was the West Coast. It's the
Central
same thing to me, though.
Supply, Pinnacle Alloys, Ford Mustang.
He is in charge and basically been a lot of the force behind these TA Cup cars. I think they're a great class. I'd love to see this class grow. Obviously, the car was rolling there. Didn't look like it had any contact or anything. Maybe just a little mechanical. Maybe they can even fix it and get him back out there.
Here's a look on board with Tommy Treacy in his trench-shoring Motul backed entry, holding down third on the podium a week ago at Sonoma. Tommy's trying to stay in the thick of this points chase. A couple of podiums back-to-back will do that for you.
He very much is. Set his fast lap on his last lap, and I think closed that gap a little bit. Paul Menard.
Yeah, taking a look at the points coming into this round. It's Menard in front of Adam Andretti, Amy Room and Tommy Dreesy, and Brent Cruz the top 5 with Pinteric and Dyson after that.
Boris, I got a text here from Scott Conway. He's our resident TA expert here. He told me Boris moved up 8 spots just on the first lap. Obviously still moving forward here. On board with Chris Dyson now coming through turn 6. That big dip, you can see it on the camera there. That's right when you get all that grip. He gets to full power and charges up the hill out of 6 to the corkscrew.
How do you hit 6? Because we've seen cars earlier in the weekend get through there and they're just offline a hair and that dip sends them flying off into the gravel.
So you're using the dip for compression and grip, but you have to understand that there's a repercussion coming out of that dip. So you're gonna for a millisecond there, you're going to get a ton of grip and you can go back to full power, but then you've got to be ready to come out to maybe 80% just on that exit and then back to it again. but the really good cars are turning well enough that they can get to get back to full power right at that dip and keep going. We'll see a little bit of modulation late in the tire run, maybe just jump to half throttle at that compression because we'll be a little bit out of grip, but these guys right now, probably for the first 10 laps, are getting to it. Another big shout out to our drone guy staying right off the tail of Tommy Dreesy. And let's see if he can get under the bridge with the drone. Man, no other shots like this in auto racing. Great job here.
No, it's spectacular. And be able to stay that close to Dreesy's an accomplishment in itself.
Exactly.
There's Amy Ruman right there and sandwiched in the middle here of this battle in TA Cup cars. Amy's got Guthrie in front of her and Thorne right behind her. And Derek Thorne, Andy, is a great oval track racer. He won the NASCAR K&N West Series Championship, and he's a winner of the famed Snowball Derby, which is the biggest race that takes place throughout the year for super late model racers anywhere in the country. That's at Pensacola, Florida in December, usually at Five Flags Speedway there. So those are some big wins. Derek Thorne, very accomplished racer.
And boy, there you could barely get any more different than going from the Snowball Derby to Laguna Seca. But that 08 looks really great. Reminds me of Bobby Dotter, one of my old Xfinity owners here. Great number, great heritage, and obviously Thorne's got some great experience here. Love to see that he's not afraid to open up his racing adventures and get to the road courses, especially here.
Yeah, and Derek, a West Coaster, comes out of Bakersfield, California. Well, there's something about the water in Bakersfield. Quite a few races coming out of there that are all pretty good. And Amy really putting the pressure on Guthrie now.
Amy had skipped the first practice session in the wet because they looked at the weather and said, it's going to be dry, this is pointless to do. So she went straight into qualifying with 0 laps on the track. And honestly, this is probably the cleanest she's had the track yet.
She better get going because the old dude's on his way. He's right behind them now. Boris has caught them. He's 11th overall and charging.
Rudy Revick here in the singular car. This is an awesome old ASA car. I love that he's out here giving it his all here. He runs with us in SVRA as well, and he's always flat out and with it here.
You know, these ASA cars, when they built them, I was calling the series back then when they did that. The center sections were all the same. And then you could do what you wanted with the front and rear clips. There was a couple of companies you could, oh, Panteric is off at the corkscrew, the Mission Foods corkscrew. And Andy, that is a common problem up there. Guys will come in, it's so blind, come in there, get a little late on the brakes, and all you can do is go straight and off, and the tire barrier is there to keep you from ending up in Salinas.
Oh, man, just a bit too much on the brakes, it looks like. I hope he didn't have a mechanical issue or anything there. Not too big of a hit. He got it woed down just before, but man, once you're off track there, you're on marbles.
And that is going to bring out a double yellow because that is definitely a dangerous spot to leave David sitting in.
The leaders had just started to get to lap traffic here. One person I know is going to be a fan of this. Unfortunate for David. Boris will be happy to re-rack it now. He'll restart this really near the tail of the middle of the TA Cup, but at least with the leaders overall in sight.
Yeah, he'll be able to see the leaders now at least.
Again, David had so much of an effort behind him this week. Tony Ave helping him out with the car, Riley helping him out with the setup and everything like that. The community rallied behind David. Had such a dramatic accident getting together in turn 10 at Sonoma. Unfortunately, this one nowhere near as dramatic. I'm sure he's completely fine in the car, but most likely an end to his day.
Chris Coffey on pit road here, the driver out of Murphy, Texas. Norwood Auto Italia Traffic Graphics, Maserati MC GT4.
Chris had an upright at Sonoma. He had an issue with an upright at Sonoma. I'm not sure if this is going to be the same thing. Obviously, Chris, one of our most successful GT drivers in the Trans Am Series history. He is still cruising around in that car trying to figure out what's going on. The crew's going to pull him back. As we collect our field, we're under code 60. Let me explain the code 60 really quick, just so that we can get emergency services out to the drivers if they're in need quickly, we go to what we call code 60. So a screen that every single driver has on their dash flashes purple, flashes code 60, and these guys, when we go full course yellow, every car on the track, instead of packing up, goes to 60 miles an hour. That lets the safety get out there more comfortably, and they can attend to the driver right away. As we get everything sorted out, we release that code 60 while still under, and then we catch the field back up. So that's why you see these guys still spread out, still spaced out. It's for safety reasons.
And it's going to take them a minute to get David Pinteric's car out of the sand trap up there. So we'll take care of some business so we can show you a lot more green flag racing when we come back live from Laguna Seca on Speed Sport 1.
How good is this? Look at this view from Losowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn, 140 mile an hour entry speeds.
The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the V-Box HT2 system.
There's Boris said.
One of the ways you overtake here at Sebring is really good in the braking zone, like this one right here.
Both go around. There's the green. We are back and at it. Watch this. Oh, Lagan, Miller, Lagan.
Back at Laguna Seca here, still under yellow, gathering the field back up.
Did you get a chance to get down to Fisherman's Wharf or Cannery Road or anything, Andy?
I did, always do here. I love this portion of the country. I just like, I take a walk out on the wharf. I listen to the water puppies barking.
The sea lions.
It's fun to check out the different wildlife around here. You know, the trench out off of Monterey Bay is one of the deepest off the west coast here. That's why the whaling is so, whale watching is so neat here. For me personally though, Santa Cruz is 44 miles north of this racetrack. To the button, gets me one of my favorite skate parks, one of my favorite places to hang out, and this is one of my favorite parts of California.
Yeah, you and I both love Santa Cruz. Spent a lot of time there as a kid on the beach and boardwalk. Did you get 18 in at Pebble?
I did not. You know what? About 2 years ago, I had knee surgery. About 4 years ago, didn't play golf at all. Came back, found my swing was completely different. I think I threw my putter in the water last time I played. I gave up on my anything above a 7-iron, and now I just go play top golf every once in a while.
There you go.
Slice it all over the place.
Yeah, it's been a great West Coast swing. We're going to start heading back to the East Coast after this.
Lime Rock Park up next for us.
Yeah, coming up next for Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli. Boy, is that going to be a thriller too.
That is always, I call it the Bristol of road racing.
Yeah,
it is.
makes sense.
It is just short track action. Not that we don't have enough action in both TA and TA2, TA Cup, and all of our GT fields, but Lime Rock turns it up all the way.
We sure had the action yesterday in TA2. A lot of plot twists there. Janetta safety car is off. Paul Menard looking for the green. Talk us through the restart process, Andy.
We're getting our tires up to temp. We're dragging the brake a little bit, and then we've got 2 cones here. Paul is getting ready to pull the trigger here. We run it a little bit later for Trans Am, and when we throw that green flag, which we've done right now, you can pass anywhere on the track. Paul's got a decent jump, a safe enough lead here to run his normal line without having to defend too much on Chris Dyson. Boris said making his way up, gets 2 spots straight away here, a 3rd spot right now, and he's well inside the top 10 if he can hold it on the outside of the 08 here, right behind the 62 as we're coming through turn 3.
Boris better be very careful, Andy, because if he keeps running like this, Poncho's going to call him and say, hey, what are you doing Lime Rock weekend?
He's going to make him fly all the way up to the East Coast here.
Yeah, I mean, Boris is wheeling it. He has got the elbows up and out for sure. And that bright neon yellow number 2 Weaver race cars, Poncho Weaver's machine, they are flying here.
I tell you, this shows off a little bit of what this TA Cup cars can do, because these Trans Am cars have tons of horsepower. The TA Cup cars, also Xfinity Motors, really moving up these hills, obviously, not giving up too much top speed to our Trans Am cars.
The Weaver Concepts Mobile One back Dodge Challenger. Boris said out of Escondido, California.
Chris Dyson's turning up the pressure a little bit.
Member of the Hall of Fame now.
Absolutely he is.
Multiple Halls of Fame for Boris said. He's in the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli Hall of Fame. Inducted our first class at Sebring beginning of the year, and now he's also in the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame.
Chris Dyson wanting to show a nose here.
Dyson looking inside. Not going to make the move yet, but boy, he's right there still filling up the mirrors, isn't he?
Boy, you know, it's a tricky one. Downhill there, as you're starting to turn, so much weight comes off that inside left front. Really easy to hang it up. You've got to be really good coming off of our Summit turn 11 there, or is that our Mission Chips? I got to get them all. Cube 3 Summit.
Summit is at 11, Mission Foods at 2, and up at the Corkscrew, and then Cube 3 over at 5 and 6. Right here.
Again, I think Chris is really, like, he's going to poke that nose in just to get Paul looking in his mirrors a little bit, but I think there's not an intent here yet. You can tell Chris's style when he's on it, he's going to be a little more aggressive than this. Right now, they're both just feeling each other out. Paul is looking in the mirrors to see where Chris is stronger just as much as Chris is trying to feel out where Paul is weak and where he could potentially make his jump. Paul is trying to do that same exact thing, figure out how he has to either strengthen that portion of the track or back Chris up so that Chris doesn't have a chance to take a move in there.
Ken Thwaites has gone to the pit lane. The Franklin Road Chevrolet Camaro, the driver out of Brentwood, Tennessee, is no longer having any power. So his day is done.
That's a way to put it, I guess. Our Menard, Dyson, Dreesy are 1, 2, 3. Andretti in 4th in our TA series here, but Sutherland, Moore, and Guthrie, that's our 1, 2, 3 battle in TA Cup right now.
And Chris Dyson needs a really good run here today. He needs another step on the podium because those first 2 races didn't work out very well. A huge crash at Sebring, 2nd year in a row, taking him out at the season opener. And of course, he was a little beat up, banged up, so he had to miss the Road Atlanta race. And then he just came back at Sonoma telling us that he had just pretty much gotten the clearance to get back in the car, put it up on the podium, did a great job there at Sonoma. Not an easy place to come back to. And now here he is at Laguna looking for more points.
We can see already they're getting a little bit slower off of 6, a little less aggressive getting onto that power, but still carrying a lot of speed.
Dyson just 0.3 of a second behind Menard, and a second further back is Tommy Dreesy and his trench shoring machine.
Tommy is seaming the rubber band here. He's not firing as quick as Paul and Chris, but we get 2 laps in, and he starts turning quicker laps.
Well, Tommy has a ton of laps here, not only in Trans Am, but in historic Trans Am. He's done a lot of races here, part of the Rolex Monterey Motorsports Reunion weekend.
And of course, Tommy, West Coast based. I think he's out of LA or right around there. This is definitely one of his favorite places.
Yeah, he calls Los Angeles home. Of course, for Dyson, Lime Rock next round will be a home track for him.
That's right. Lime Rock Park, not too far from Poughkeepsie, New York. Hometown there. He's in Manhattan a lot. He's in Poughkeepsie a lot, but for sure I know he's going to have a ton of guests. The party's going to be going on for the Dyson crew at Lime Rock Park. They're going to be expecting only a win there. That's the only thing they're going to leave there satisfied with.
And don't forget, we race there on Saturday and Monday. So if you go looking for Trans Am on Sunday, enjoy the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 instead, and we'll see you on Monday.
There you go. Trans Am action will be on Monday this year. We'll have our TA2 guys racing on Saturday.
You got us a flight hooked up to get to Indy and back, by the way?
I'm going to Long Island and hanging with some friends to watch that on TV, man.
Right,
I'm not a big crowd guy.
I see how you are. All right. Meanwhile, back to the racing. Here's Adam Andretti still sitting in fourth. And here comes the old dude, Boris Said. He's back behind these guys. The 85 is Sutherland in his Dodge Challenger. He is currently leading in the TA Cup Championship. And then it's Moore and Guthrie. And then you'll see Boris Said right there in his neon yellow, who sits, Boris is 5th in Trans Am, 8th overall.
This really is a great battle we've got for the TA Cup lead. We did not have Sutherland on the top of the podium at Sonoma, so I know he's looking forward to trying to get some redemption here. Moore, who put on such a great show yesterday in TA2, our pole sitter here today for TA Cup, obviously putting some pressure on. I think he knows that TV camera got on him, and he's turned it up a little bit. And we've got Guthrie with a mirror full of Boris Said for the last few laps, but holding them off.
Yeah, Guthrie is doing a tremendous job of staying calm because Boris is filling up the mirrors for sure.
You know, that's a tricky balance to play here. If there's portions on this track where Guthrie thinks that he's faster than Boris, then it's going to be tricky because he doesn't want to let him by, because he doesn't want to give an inch to first and second, because that podium run, that shot for the win, he doesn't want to see that go away. At the same time, if he can get Boris by without an issue, he wants Boris to go mess up that race in front of him, maybe slow those guys down, set a pick, and let Guthrie wants to get those guys moving a little bit wide, maybe tuck under and try to make that pass.
Able to see on board with Chris Dyson in his Jim Weed Mustang. See the speeds, about 80 miles an hour through turn 3. And you said it's a little quicker through 4, about 20 miles an hour, and it was.
Your approach speeds get quicker and quicker and quicker through 3, through 4, through 5, and then really gutsy through 6 up here. You've got an uphill climb out of 5, and as we look from on board with Dyson with this Jim Reed camera, you can't see the apex until you're just turning in right here. So you've got to actually start turning the wheel before you see your apex point.
Then it's all the way up the Rahal straightaway to the corkscrew. Mission Foods corkscrew here this weekend. And there goes that battle in TA Cup. Sutherland out in front of Moore and Guthrie, and Said still chasing from behind.
I love the look of these cars. I love the huge numbers on the doors. I mean, these look like stock cars. This looks like, you know, the stock car road racing that I love here. That 85 with that neon yellow looks awesome here. Sutherland putting on a show here. I honestly turned it up a little bit here this last lap. Opened up a little bit of a gap.
Ken Sutherland out of Sherwood, Oregon, in his Kahlberg Racing Dodge Challenger number 85. Leading in TA Cup. Moore behind him. Cole out of Orangevale, California, a suburb of Sacramento. Then Moore Motorsport JM Environmental Ford Mustang.
And
looking here at the 08, which is Derek Thorne and his DTR Marketing Power Grade PJR CEI Ford Mustang.
This is a tough spot for Thorne because he's got just enough gap behind him. Oh, looks like we might be slowing here. Obviously something potentially wrong here with Michelle flying by. Those are the same class cars, so obviously Thorne having a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, he was running 4th in TA Cup. Now it'll be Michelle Nagy doing that.
And she's instantly opened up a couple hundred yards.
Yes.
So obviously thorn off the pace in the 0.8 here. We'll see if we can find out what's going on. But that moves Michelle Nagy into 4th, trying to close up that gap to get another podium.
Michelle Nagy out of Newcastle, California. The Nagy Racing Berkeley Jet Drive Chevy Camaro, number 72.
That's a good-looking car. Man, she was flying at Sonoma Raceway last week, and we see the 08 Thorn coming to pit lane to address whatever those issues were. He's obviously got some sort of drive, maybe a misfire, maybe something loose.
Here's Carlson in the 36. That's your GT leader.
He's our SGT points leader as well. Been winning everything that he's been getting in all of our, I think he's won all 3 races so far this year.
Yeah.
Getting some seat time here at Laguna Seca. I know this is relatively new to him.
Driver out of Iowa.
This is one of our single car teams here. So important to Trans Am. Coming out here, it's a family show, 1-car deal, putting their stuff together. They put a beautiful effort on track here, and obviously Carlson's going really quick here every single week, showing this class what needs to be done here to win these races.
Sweeping up through 6. Head up the hill in his Mustang. Looking for the apex at the top of the corkscrew now.
For those that might be tuning in saying, man, that looks like a TA2 car. It is a TA2 car. It's allowed a couple of more additions to run into SGT, but it's a versatile car. We let it run in both SGT and the TA2 field. And Siva on the side of that car, they've been supporting him all year long. Good looking ride.
Andy, we're down to close to 25 laps to go. So you're sitting behind the wheel. You're Dyson, you're Paul Menard. What are you thinking about now as you get ready for the fight to the finish here?
This has been Chris going to school on everything Paul's been doing. And that's everything Paul's been doing right, taking note. Maybe he'll make some adjustments on his own. But mainly, where is that weak link? And especially as we get down into lap traffic here, figuring this stuff out. I wasn't kidding before. We use these cars as picks when we're coming through these the field here, and these guys are definitely going to be doing that. We're going to be just getting into turn 1 with Paul Menard. He's going to get right on the back of JD Coos. JD's got a new sponsor this weekend with him, Modus. Really cool company. I got to check out their website. Paul, looking to the inside. JD's been so smart with traffic, as he was at Sonoma as well. Knows these cars have another 300 horsepower on them. Moves out of the way, lets the fight for first continue here. JD Coos running 2nd in our SGT class right now. Again, new sponsor Modus with him, supporting him. It's great to have new companies coming in to show themselves off in the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli.
Do you see any place on the racetrack where maybe Dyson has an advantage over Menard, or maybe a spot where Paul has one on Chris? What do you think?
To be honest, it looks like Chris gets out of 6 a little better. Once Chris really gets to Paul's bumper here, though, it's going to be tough because you get a huge arrow push right under somebody. When you're good in the fast corners, it's tough to make that pass because these TA cars have a ton of downforce, and when you get that close. So really what you want to be able to do is put that power down out of Summit Racing turn 11 to get, because you can get right up to his bumper, not worry about arrow, because it's the slowest corner on the track, maybe 40 miles an hour apex speed, as they accelerate up to almost 160 in just a few short seconds going into turn 1 here. So Chris is going to start turning it up on these brake zones to try to get to his bumper. Sometimes it's not so much, can I get out of here faster? It's, can I force this guy to make a mistake? We all know, though, Paul Menard, his heart rate's probably about 62 right now. He's just chilling. Hard to get this guy excited, hard to move him off track, hard to force a mistake.
Paul Gentilozzi and the guys give him a great car to race, and Paul wrings its neck and gets every last ounce out of it. You can be sure of that.
Man, Boris's car just came by here. I don't know if you guys hear that resonate through the mics. We are basically 5 feet from the start and finish line, and the glass in front here just zings as these cars come by. It's pretty amazing. Paul's starting to get a good run out of 6 now. You know, I was just talking about how good Chris was out of here, but those last 2 times, as soon as we went to him, getting a really good shot out of here, opening that up. Chris gaining a little bit in the brake zones, not a ton. I think really his advantage right now, Chris, if anything, is turn 11 there. But like you say, there's 25 laps remaining, 24 laps remaining. That's still a lot of time.
Adam Andretti has moved around Tommy Dreesen.
Look at that. I don't know if that's a mistake from Tommy or Adam finally turning it up. Adam really wasn't that close to the action, but he wasn't falling off the pace at all. This is a brand new car for him. We got a wet first session, so really all he had was a short qualifying session to acclimate to a completely different kind of chassis than he's been racing and winning with all year long in the last couple of years here. So Adam Andretti making his impression here, getting himself back into podium contention, trying to put himself back into this championship hunt here. Top liner on board, of course, Claudio Burton, and that squad out of Georgia. Happy to look on here and see that Adam's got a ride while they work on their ride and get it ready back for racing for Lime Rock Park. Top liner, if anyone's wondering, I'm sure most of you have probably heard what Line-X is. This is like Line-X on steroids. It's the next evolution of the best bed liner, best spray-in bed liner on the planet here.
Hamid Masood normally drives that 21, not going to be able to be here this weekend, and so it worked out. They already had the car with him out here and able to get logoed up and ready to go for Adam. To a seat change and you're all set.
Adam slowly creeping away here from Tommy. Maybe Tommy's tires are falling off. Again, just we were talking about, Chris has closed it up in his brake zone, and this is his most important corner. He needs another foot and a half here to really make this draft work.
He's closer than he's been.
And Paul knows it, obviously turning in a little bit early.
Inside, here he comes. Dyson trying to move up alongside of Mission Foods turn 2. Contact right at the center of the apex, and you could see it moved Menard offline, and Dyson comes through in the Jim Weed Mustang. New leader.
Incredible run there. That's where he needed to make it happen. He can take the most amount of chance getting close to Paul there. One of our Maseratis moving out of the way here. Let this action go. Chris still leading in, and now we'll see. Was he really leaving a percent on the table? Is he able to turn it up right now? This is what he has to do. He's got to get away. He's got to break that draft. He's got to take away that chance for Paul to counter, make a dive bomb. He's got to really put in a good, hard 2 or 3 laps here, set the stage and make that gap so that there can't be a charge again from Paul. And again, Paul's first time here. This is going to be the first time that Paul is following anybody ever. I'm sure he tried to get a hole for himself in practice, in qualifying. And again, we're dry here. Totally different from how we were in qualifying. Tires are finally falling off. Paul's still learning Laguna Seca. Doesn't want to give anything up and is real close to Chris coming off of turn 11 here.
Yeah. Let's take a look at it again. You can see Dyson was so much closer coming under the bridge, then went inside. Contact right about here. And you can see Menard got pushed off line a little bit, and Dyson closed the door on him.
Definitely decisive. It'll be interesting to try to get a couple different looks from this from maybe Paul's car when we review that in-car after. Both of them obviously trying to go for that. Paul wanting to turn down a little early. Chris saying, no, I want to hang out here a little wide. We get a little touch. Probably one of the dive planes flying off here. We saw some debris there. But now it's time for Chris to turn it up a little bit. Try to break that gap, but Paul's hanging right there.
And how much will the loss of that dive plane impact the aero on these cars?
You know, in the slower corners here, turns 11s, turn 3, maybe a little bit of 4, definitely not the corkscrew, but for sure, 9, 10, 5, and 6, absolutely. You're going to feel a little bit of that understeer kick in, increase. Might not be a bad thing if these guys are loose. Might actually kind of balance the car out a little bit. But
well, we'll see how it plays out here at the end. Not even sure which car it came off of yet.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it came off of Chris's car.
Maybe off the left front of Menard?
Yep. Might not have even been a dive plane. It could have just been a little edge off the splitter there. This is the gap that Chris needs. I know this doesn't look like a lot, but in just 1 or 2 laps to have that gap where Chris knows that Paul will have his head on straight, not go for a dive bomb from this far back, that lets Chris look 100% out the front windshield. Okay, maybe like 98% out the front windshield. Focus on his line and get to it and try to open that gap up.
Dyson got a good drive off of 3 and looked like he gained another couple of feet. Well, we still have 20 laps to go, so Menard certainly has plenty of time to mount up another challenge.
And conditions have plenty of time to change here. I mean, we've got sun on the track. Again, though, 900 horsepower. That tears the rubber off these Pirelli tires. There's no tire on the planet that can handle this much and just stay that consistent. So these guys still do need to mind that. 20 laps is a lot of different turns here, and you really can overdrive yourself. So Chris, as cool, calm, and collected as he was at Sonoma, he's got to repeat that now. Keep that pace, but without overdoing it, without burning off those tires coming off the corner sideways.
Yeah, it's just turning 2 o'clock out here on the West Coast on this Sunday afternoon. So we're still, Andy, probably about 2 hours away from that fog rolling up the hill from the Pacific Ocean. So we should see plenty of sunshine all the way through to the end of this one.
We just saw that Boris Said had gotten around Guthrie here.
And Andretti's still in front of Dreesy, so Said is now up to 7th, still running 4th in TA, or 5th, I should say, in TA.
So we've got Carlson and Michelle Nagy here. Obviously 2 different classes, but finding themselves with similar pace here. We had Ruman in this mix just a lap or so ago. I'm not sure if she had pulled away or if she's had a problem. We'll be looking for that next time by.
I think Amy's out in front of this group.
Nagy has been making her way through the field, closing the gap a bit on Guthrie, who'd been fighting all this time.
Derek Thorne retired with a transmission issue. That was the problem for the 08.
Looks like he probably just broke 1 gear there and might not have had 4th gear. That's why we saw the top speed out.
Here comes Dyson getting ready to start another lap. He definitely has a gap now over Menard. It was just about a second last time.
Well, we see a little action right in front of them. This is exactly what Paul wants. Paul wants Chris to have no place to go. We got Carlson and Michelle side by side through 3. They were side by side through 1, 2, now 3. This is going to choke Chris up a little bit. Here, you see him get on the brakes early, and we see Paul get a bit of a run. Chris has got to take a moment
he's
here.
Right there. The gap was 1.2 when they crossed the line, and now it's nose to tail. And that's all courtesy of the lap traffic.
And again, the gap is...
Oh, one of the Maseratis around. Is that Colin Cohen?
That is Colin.
Out of South Lake, Texas. The Norwood Auto Italia Traffic Graphics Maserati MC GT4. Up to the top of the hill, and it looks like our top 2 have cleared the traffic and are still nose to tail as they drop down through Mission Foods corkscrew.
Chris had to be defensive going up to the corkscrew as he had just made his way by Carlson, and Paul looked to the outside. An almost impossible kind of pass to make, but the pressure that Paul needs to put on Chris to say, hey, man, I'm still here. I'm still coming. I know you got me a few laps ago, but I'm trying to come back. Full course yellow here as we go to attend to the Maserati on the inside of turn 4 here.
How much does this help Menard?
Huge. Absolutely huge, because so he just got passed by Chris. He got to see him for 3 or 4 laps, go to school on him. He gets to think about what those changes were. Literally, I know this sounds a bit crazy here, but he gets to look around the track a little bit. He gets to open up his vision. You don't get too many times where you get out. We don't let these guys go out with rental cars or anything and cruise around if they've never been here before. He's going to literally open up his vision. You get a bit of a tunnel vision, you get a little bit of a narrow focus as you're going. He can take the notes and the things that he's learned and just look a little further through these corners and make small incremental improvements, even under yellow, as to what he's going to do next, basically like a plan. It looks like Colin had decent impact here and then brought it back again to the inside, so there might have been 2 bits of contact there. Like I talked about in the pre-race show when we were in the pickup truck doing the lap around here, if you drop a wheel on the outside of this corner, it's super easy. Unfortunately, it's soft dirt, so spin it back to the inside.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. Can Chris Dyson in the Jim Weed Ford hold off the Mustang of the hard-charging Paul Menard? The fight for the championship continuing here at Laguna on Speed Sport 1.
In racing, every second counts. Communication isn't just important, it's everything. Established in 1996 in Daytona Beach, Florida, Speedcom Communications was born from a passion for racing and a vision to revolutionize motorsports communication. Trusted by competitors across the world.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
How good is this? Look at this view from Losowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn 140-mile-an-hour entry speeds. The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the V-Box HD2 system.
Some of the sites around Monterey, Carmel, just about a mile apart from each other, up and over the hill. Beautiful area. Highly recommend coming out if you're a race fan. Make the trip out here, make a vacation out of it, and catch some great racing here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. They got a full schedule ahead for 2025. Hopefully we'll be back here in 2026, Mr. President. Any hints?
No hints yet. No hints yet.
All
but
right.
We're working on it.
Can't blame the guy for trying.
Obviously an iconic track.
Let's go down trackside. Ben, you got an update for us on Chris Dyson?
Well, I've got a little good information here. Stevie Dix with the Jim Weed car of Chris Dyson, Dyson Racing. What's he saying out there, and what a pass there at turn 2.
That was a really nice pass. Chris has just settled in, pretty quiet on the radio, just doing his work behind the wheel, and we're in the lead, which is a great place for the Jim Weed Ford Mustang this afternoon.
Nice. Now, something I want to talk about that's amazing about the camaraderie, the family dynamics here. I was in Burton Racing in the pit lane at Sonoma when all that stuff happened. Immediately, you, from another competing team, said, whatever we can do, we have a shop real close to here, whatever we can do to get Adam back. And now here he is, kind of adopted into the team. Explain that.
Well, Adam has run with us before, so he's already what we would call a family member. And the Burton guys, we love them. Terry down there, Claudio Burton, they're a great group of guys. We had an incident with our car one time at Charlotte, and we took it and welded it back together at their shop.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There you go, a little bit of the camaraderie, but Dyson out front right now. Back to you.
Yeah, he's going to have another lap at least under the pace car here. Lights are still on in our Ginetta safety car.
Colin Cohen was our driver there.
Let's take one more look at this pass here, Andy. And we should be able to see if, no, we're not going to have the onboard with this look.
Chris waits just an instant longer to get that look to the inside. Gets cleanly down to the bottom. Shoves up a little bit wide right as Paul's coming down. Little touch. Nothing too big. Chris gets on the door and a little slide job right out to the edge there. Both drivers, you know, pushing it.
Here's the onboard. You can see how hard Chris is on the brakes here.
Yeah, big time. I mean, brake pressure through the roof here. Still able to turn a little bit. With all that pressure as he comes off, he slides up a tiny bit. Little bit of a nudge. Little donut on the door there. Tracks out, puts his foot all the way back in it. Again, just two pros going at it.
So, Mr. President, nobody's getting called to the hauler after that one? Everybody's okay?
Yeah, I think I want to see good hard racing here. I don't mind guys touching a little bit. There's nothing super intentional there. And there, you know, one guy turning down and there's one guy sliding up a little bit. He didn't just, you know, blow in there wildly with the tires locked up and slam into him. So, no, for sure. That's just good hard racing right there.
Another guy, Ben, who's doing a great job today is Boris Said in Pancho Weaver's car.
Start from the back, but I'm with Pancho Weaver with Weaver Racing Concepts with Boris Said. Boris Said at the fan walk, Pancho, if you remember, said, I just need a couple of cautions. Well, he's gotten a couple of cautions. What's he saying?
He's saying I'm saving tires, and he's just, you know, kind of hanging out there and doing his thing. He says those TAC cars are pretty good power. It's amazing, you know. He's just kind of hanging in there. He doesn't want to really push it too hard. He wants to have something for the end. Well, we got 15 to go. It's getting close.
I love it. Well, you can see here, Pancho's wearing two pair of glasses. It's a speed secret. He can see 15 seconds into the future to tell Boris what he needs to do. So back to you guys up in the booth.
Andy, Boris, the old dude, has 5 cars between him and the backside of Paul Menard. He could make this happen.
He could. He absolutely could. He's done it in the past. We've seen these actions. We know he's ready to roll. Pace car is in.
Here we go. Everybody watching Chris Dyson, Menard right on him. Here we go. We're racing again. And Menard pulled the trigger almost as fast as Dyson. This should be a great one to the finish.
Big jump for those two. Andretti slots into third. Tommy Dreese hoping he could fire off a little better here.
Great move by Boris. He picked off 3 more. He's only got 2 cars between him and Menard now.
And only a 5th place overall, right on the bumper of Tommy Dreese. We know Boris fires off really quick. We know Tommy usually is a long-run car, so we'll see if he can turn it up here, try to get away from Boris. As Paul now thinking about what he's learned, what can he do, what can he bring back toward Chris Dyson to try to take the lead of this race.
And all 4 of the cars in front of Boris are heavily involved in the championship fight this year in the points. Dyson, Menard, Andretti, Dreese, all within striking distance of winning this championship. If Boris passes any one of them, it could be a huge blow and a shakeup in the title fight.
Are we seeing, did we just see Michelle take the lead for GT Cup, TA Cup? We've got some action. Watching the front of the field here, Chris Dyson, Paul Menard, Adam Andretti, Tommy Dreese, Boris Said, our top 5.
Dyson looks like he's pulled away. No,
and Sutherland's still right there.
And Michelle is moving inside and more, going into 11. Summit Racing Equipment 11, and Amy Ruman coming through with her. Here they come. Michelle gets by, and Amy's right alongside and has to back out of it as they head to Mission Foods 2. And Guthrie with a great dive up the inside there to get back around Amy Ruman.
This is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in TA Cup. I know Amy Ruman's battling some handling issues. Michelle has a problem coming out of turn 2. That's Guthrie back up to P2 now.
Yeah, that was a real shame. She slowed dramatically. Now Moore trying to find a way around.
Full course
and
yellow.
We got a full course caution.
I think that might have been, that's what the slowing that we see. I think we might have seen Michelle catch that full course yellow a little before our competitors did here.
Okay, the old dude got 3 cars.
Oh, no.
The ASA car is off. Revick.
Rudy Revick here singular sponsorship, was having a great weekend. He runs both SVRA and our TA, our GT class, SGT class.
Got to talk about the old dude. He got 3 cars on that last restart. He's right on the back of Tommy Dreese and Adam Andretti now. The only 2 cars between him and the fight for the win with Menard and Dyson.
I would be, I'm positive. Boris, his main goal right now is Adam Andretti. He wants to, with no practice, no qualifying, stand on his podium. Anything else will be icing on the cake. I mean, at this point, the fact that he's gone from last to 5th and is on the bumper of Tommy Dreese is a testament to his skills and his ability, regardless of his age. We tease him about his age, but regardless of his age, obviously the talent is huge. He's kept that car completely clean as he's come through this field as well.
Boris' sense of humor hasn't slowed, nor has his speed behind the wheel. Here's a look at the start. You'll see Boris back there get very aggressive. Dyson pulls away from Menard. Here comes Boris up the inside, passing 3 cars on that restart. Gets around Sutherland, Nagy, and Moore, and sets after Dreese.
Nagy took advantage of that pick that was set by Boris coming in, forcing the guys a little wide. There was a lane on the bottom, and they went for it. Under yellow here with not too long to go in this race. We're going to have another exciting restart. We had an SGT car of Carlson that was in there. He was very smart. You're allowed to pass as soon as the green comes out. So Carlson knew he was way under power compared to this TA and TA Cup cars, and was able to stay on power but stay to the left, stay to the right, and let everybody else go to the left up the inside of him. This is Rudy now coasting down the hill here. Hopefully here we can get these guys rolling, go back to green the next lap.
We're going to have quite the shootout here to the finish. Don't forget our next event, round number 5 of the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli, will take place on Memorial Day weekend, on Memorial Day Monday, from Lime Rock Park. You'll be able to see that race live and free right here on Speed Sport 1. Of course, we'll have TA2 that weekend on Saturday. Track goes quiet on Sunday, and we're back racing on Monday. So while you're barbecuing, put on Speed Sport 1 and watch Trans Am, right?
That sounds good to me. I'm excited. We've got a good TA restart coming up here. We've got Sutherland and the guy that are going to be battling it out here, obviously with Moore right on their bumper. We've got some great action, a lot to be settled. We should be coming back to green with about 11 to go.
Ben, a good fight in TA Cup as well.
Yeah, I'm with Camry down here with Chris Evans, Jefferson Racing. They still have a lot of drivers in the hunt. What are the Moores saying right now, the 2 Moores that are out there?
Right now, they're not saying a whole lot. They're just kind of keeping their head down and digging on and just trying to take positions when they can.
Nice. Well, now that we're getting to these late race restarts, any new strategies you and your team are telling them?
Not a whole lot, just kind of keeping their heads on straight. Just keep picking them off while they can.
I love it. Well, there you go. Some insight about these TA Cup cars, but I think they're coming back to green.
Yeah, we're getting ready, Ben. It's going to be a real tough fight from here. Might be some hurt feelings here in a little bit, Andy.
Without a doubt, this is what sets up. This is a tough place to pass. So when you get to 10 to go, this is when everybody starts to get aggressive here.
All right, let's see what the old dude Boris said can do on the backside of Tommy Dreese, and can Menard hang on to Dyson and Adam Andretti fighting to stay on the podium. Here we go. Getting ready to go back to green here at Laguna in the final stages of the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli at round 4. Green is waving. Here we go. Dyson away quickly. Menard trying to hang on to the back bumper. Dreese is able to fend off Boris down to Mission Foods turn 2 for now. Oh! Menard gets into Dyson. But it's Menard that gets spun around, not Dyson. Oh! Oh, that just did not play out the way Paul was hoping for.
What a huge swing in the points. Adam Andretti has got to be lapping this up. That puts Dreesy and Boris now fighting for the final podium spot here.
Oh, and you know Boris's elbows just got a little bit higher and a little bit sharper.
Just like you said, we come to 10 to go here. We're going to turn it up. The action is going to start. Our TA Cup race we can see in the background there. They're too wide heading to turn 5 as they come to 6.
Sutherland, Nagy, and Moore fighting that hot spot battle out at TA Cup. There's Sutherland just in front of the group in TA Cup.
And surprise, Andretti now, who'd been sort of hanging, getting used to this car. Teammates this weekend with Dyson after being obviously against him with Burton Racing now, lining up our current leader to see what he could do with him.
Adam is very hungry for this championship this year. He knows he has a shot at it. He has the team. He had the car. They'll get it repaired. They'll be ready to go when we get to Lime Rock with his regular race car. But here today, he's got a shot at closing up those points again.
What a change to the storyline in just one lap here.
And don't forget, with Menard now having his problems, if Adam stays in this position or gets better, Adam will probably jump back into the points lead because he was second, just 14 points behind Menard coming into today.
He's obviously, he wants the win. There's a portion of every race car driver that's like, I gotta go, I gotta win this thing. And then there's another portion where you're thinking big picture, big championship. He'd obviously like to focus on getting that crown, being the 2025 TA champion. He's got a bit of a comfortable gap here. Again, he's been able to gap Dreesy. Obviously, Dyson Racing putting some good cars on the track, running 1-2 here.
Credit to Chris Dyson, too, for hanging onto the car, because that was a pretty good hit between him and Menard.
Boy, they both got a bit sideways. I think Paul got back into the gas here. It's a low grip exit of the corner there. Often we see a little bit of sand. Just as you can look around on this screen, you can see the dust blows around this track like crazy. Adam, little wheel hop. Bringing it into turn 11 there as he's trying to turn it up and make that happen. We talk about, the driver's mind thinking about championship and thinking about that win. I definitely think Checkers might be on his mind just as much or more than the championship here.
Let's take a look at the incident with Menard and Dyson. I didn't think Paul was going to have a shot down here at 2, but he did, and he comes up to the inside here. And you can see he got on the gas, and that's where the contact happened.
So there's this point in the middle of turn 2 because you're so long where you're from the time you get off the brake to the time you get back to the gas that it's easy to want to go to gas in the middle there. Paul obviously saw Chris swinging like maybe a half a car wide to try to get a good point off to get that drive off, and he put a nose in there. He thought it was an opportunistic time to try to take advantage of it. Sadly, unfortunately, that's led to a spin. Paul will be coming back through the field here. Obviously, Paul, another one, hoping for a full course yellow to re-rack him, get him going here. Dyson now,
desperately now
in control on his way down to turn 9 here. Such a quick, high G, long G load corner. Has got a pretty comfortable gap now. He can rest on this gap right here. Not that he can rest in the car, but he can, again, focus forward. 99% of his focus is out the front windshield. His crew's going to be giving him gaps. He's probably got a spotter on the hill telling him, you're good, you got 10 car lengths, give me 99.9% on the way home, but don't overdrive this thing. Chris, having missed the Sebring round, is way out of the points. Having missed the Road Atlanta round is way out of the points. Having a bad Sebring finish is way out of the points. So all Chris wants to do here, his main focus is opposite of Adam. It's win. Win all day, win the rest of the races this season, take whatever chances he needs to do that because he knows it's a real long shot to get back into this. He just wants to collect some checkered flags.
Here's Menard working his way up through the field, just getting around the 72 machine.
That's Michelle Nagai.
Yeah. And she is running in 8th. And, you talk about those points. Dyson was 7th coming into today.
Yeah, so we're a little bit too early in the season to count him out of the championship for sure, but I know in his mind, I know his mindset. He just wants to get back to victory lane right now. If he keeps winning and it comes his way, he'll start thinking about championship points. But right now, he wants to make this West Coast swing worth it. Having been so close to the victory at Sonoma and driven so well, he definitely wants to take advantage of this and bring one home. I love that fire.
Oh.
I love these guys, all that horsepower.
It's fantastic. And let's see, here comes Tracy with Sed behind him as they cross the line. Gap is about 2 seconds between the two, looks like. On board with Tommy, that trench showing Motul number 8. And into the gas as he heads to 3. Onto the brake a little bit. Back into the gas, and Boris trying to run him down. And credit to Sutherland, because Sutherland is hanging in that TA Cup car right to the back of Boris's full-blown TA car.
He is flying. We didn't see this pace at Sonoma, but boy, does he know Laguna, and he's able to hang on here. Jim and Michelle fighting it out for the second place position here.
There's Carlson running 12th overall, but leading his class.
Again, he hasn't put a wheel wrong this whole season.
No.
He's won, this will be his 5th straight win if he gets it. 7 laps remaining here, so I don't want to jinx him. He's won every race since COTA last year in SGT.
And just like that, Dyson completes another lap.
Back on board here with Chris. He's got about a 2-second lead over Andretti, who's got a 2-second lead over Dreesy, who's only got about a 1 second, maybe half a second lead over Sed. But here comes Menard, who's made his way by Ruman. And that's going to put him back into 5th. Huge points implication right there. He'll have Boris Sed next on his sights, and you can tell he's on a charge.
Here's Chris Dyson headed to turn 5, Cube 3 architecture, turn 5. See how much brake he was using fully into it, going into the corner. Let's see what he does here at 6. Hard on the brakes again here. Get through that apex, and then you're charging up the Ray Hall straight. Standing on the brakes again here at the top of the hill, Mission Foods corkscrew.
Again, it's only 6 laps to go. That's still a lot of corners. That's still a bunch of tricky negotiations you need to make around Laguna Raceway.
Yeah, very easy to make a mistake, overshoot a corner. Any one of these times, those brakes are taking a lot of load here today. If anybody has brake failure, that could cause an issue here at the end.
You know, that charge, how Adam fired off at the start, was a little bit quicker, made some time on Chris. This, again, just like Sonoma, the long run, the more we go, the more we see that number 16 Jim Weed Ford get stronger.
Out a second behind Dreesy is Boris Sed. So that fight for the final podium spot could heat up again with 5 laps remaining here.
Really cool drone footage following Adam around. You can see that gap now between Adam and Chris. They've got a comfortable lead over Dreesy, who's now going to be in his own battle with Boris, who any minute now, we're going to see Paul there. He's going to be coming. That's going to be, that's multiple points implications there. So you've got Paul leading Adam, but you've also have Amy Ruman third in the points with Tommy Dreesy trying to close. Tommy needs to stay in front of Paul, needs to stay in front of Amy. We're going to leave here with this whole points battle bunched up if they stay the same here.
Oh yeah. Menard is back up to 6th. He's doing a great job of clawing his way back through the field. Here's Menard. Looks like he's closing in quickly on Sed. He's gotten around Sutherland, so Sed is next. And you got to wonder how much of Boris's car he used up coming from the tail end of the field just to get to this place.
Yeah, and on top of that, obviously, we know Paul's car is very, very strong here.
Oh, you see Paul sliding off of turn number 2. The other thing to think about with Boris, too, is like he says, first time he's been in a car in a year. He's not in race shape.
And Boris, you know, look at this now. Dreesy has fallen back a little bit. This is our new podium battle.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one to the finish. Dreesy, Sed, Menard, 4 laps remaining here at Laguna. And if Menard can claw his way back up onto the podium after fighting like that and getting spun out, that would be huge.
He's going to take a look to the outside of Boris. Not an easy place to take a look. Boris will obviously easily defend to the inside, but again, that's letting Boris know he's there.
So keep an eye on Summit Racing Equipment, turn number 11.
Exactly. That's what he's going to try to set him up.
That's 10. Here we go. Headed down the short chute to 11. Menard sizing up the inside. Right there. Gets up on the curbing. Boris gives him plenty of room, and Menard is passed.
3
now,
laps
can he
to
catch
go.
Dreesy just in front of him and get back up on the podium?
I got to say, Boris was nice. That was a little bit of a late look. Boris was saying, all right, I'm coming in for a one-off here. Obviously, Paul's been gaining. Smarter minds won out there. I thought Paul was going to wait, get the shot off. Obviously a little impatient, probably a little ticked off here that he's not at the front of this field anymore. Wants a trophy.
Oh, yeah. He's coming for the podium. Tommy Dreesy's got his hands full now. He was holding off the old dude pretty good, but now the reigning champ has another card to play.
Tommy gets a good run out there. He's going to be safe into the corkscrew. He's got to back himself up a little bit here, get a good run out of 8, out of the corkscrew, so he can be clean through 9 and 10. Not be worried about that look to the inside from Paul.
3 laps to go as Dyson crosses the line.
Good run out from Paul again.
2
This
to
should
go.
be a bit of a look. Dyson, Dreesy's going to defend a little bit. That's going to give Paul a good
comes,
look.
Making the run. Dreesy trying to slide over. Menard filling up the window. What will he do down here at turn 2? Mission Foods, turn 2. Menard looking outside.
Dreesy getting aggressive. He does not want to give up that final trophy spot on the podium there.
Oh, here comes Menard inside going to 3. Oh, and Dreesy beats him to the apex. Boy, that's tough racing down there.
Oh, boy, and you could see when Tommy came across the front end of Paul, right as they crested the hill of 1, Paul's car got super light there. You lose almost all steering when you get that much downforce off the nose. Tommy turning in a little bit early. He's making sure he's does not want to give him that inside on the entry here.
Menard using up all the racetrack here at Laguna Seca.
Again, this is a tough one because you lose the nose again. Paul is thinking about what that last lap was. He's got to make that move exiting 11 unless he can get Tommy to make a mistake through 8, 9, and 10 here.
You got a lap and a half to go. The battle is right here for the final spot on the podium. White flag is out for Chris Dyson. Adam Andretti holding down second, crosses the line now. Dreesy, first one to 11. Menard looking on the outside, dips a wheel. That's going to cost him a little bit on the exit. Oh, and the 99 is in the tires.
That's the exit of turn 5, I think?
Yes.
Moore was having a good run. Actually was nose to tail with his dad for a little bit, and they were trying to get back on the overall podium for TA Cup.
Still
Menard
no
back
yellow.
On the bumper. I think we're going to leave it green here. Probably run a local yellow in turn 5.
Menard right on the back of Dreesy, headed to 4. They'll be coming towards that incident with more here in a minute as they head towards turn 5. Here's Dyson on his way up to the top of the hill. Up the Ray Hall straight one final time. Dreesy past the incident at 5. Menard right on his tail. Here they come to 6.
We could even have a lapped car come into play here. I know we don't want to see it end like that because this has been a good battle, but this kind of thing happens in multi-class racing.
Yep, it's going to be the Porsche of Coos, and here comes Dyson off of 11. Summit Racing Equipment, turn 11, final time for Chris Dyson, and the Jim Weed Ford Mustang takes the win here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Now we turn our attention to turn 11. Menard looking, hard on the brakes, up the inside on Dreesy. Kept it off of him. Here he comes, the drag race is on. Andretti across the line in second. They touch again. Menard takes third in an incredible comeback, and Dreesy will hold on for fourth with the old dude Boris said rounding out the top 5. What a finish.
Wild, wild play here. I think we've got Sutherland crossing the finish line to win TA Cup. I can't tell if there was contact there. You could see the brake dust coming off of Paul's car. He was harder on them there than he had been. Also, both of them offline being defensive. Wild finish here again. That's 2 finishes in a row involving Paul Menard and a wild finish.
I hope Paul Menard doesn't need his brakes to bring the car to a halt at the end of this one because he's got nothing left there.
No,
he used them all up in 11.
Absolutely. Chris Dyson taking a nice, well-deserved victory lap here.
Precision execution by Chris Dyson today. He let Menard get around there at the beginning when Paul got very aggressive. He settled in behind him, bided his time just like he talked about, watched, pounced when the door opened, and that was it from there.
Great drive, 0 mistakes all day. Dyson, Andretti, Menard to complete our podium.
What will this do to the championship? So I'm guessing, since they came into the race separated by 14 points, I'm going to assume that Paul Menard's going to hang on to the points lead, but it's going to close up between him and Adam Andretti.
It's going to close up first and second. It's going to close up third and fourth. We've got a good battle heading into Lime Rock here.
Yeah, Dreesy was less than 10 points between him and Amy Ruman. That's going to get awful tight as you look at the results from today's race. And Dyson, with Penteric having problems and Cruz not in the race, Dyson might go from 7th to 5th.
Yeah, and obviously now being real close shot.
Yep.
In that conversation, like you say, to get up into 3rd or 4th soon. If he keeps this up, he'll be in championship hunt by the end of it.
Well, he's going to be a little surprised, too, when he crawls out of that Jim Weed Ford and heads to the Jim Weed winner's circle and looks over and sees Paul Menard in his Pittsburgh paint suit crawling up onto the podium.
I bet he might have rode Paul's chances for a podium off there.
And what an effort by Adam Andretti after such a tough race last week at Sonoma to get into this second card from Dyson and find himself on the podium. He's hungry for this title this year.
Oh, absolutely, and he's obviously driving like it.
Yeah, he knows he has a shot at it.
There we go, our winner celebrating at first victory of 2025. Probably seems like it's taken a long time. For anybody that doesn't know, that is a Price Cobb helmet throwback right there.
Yeah.
Helmet tribute.
That's right.
One of my early racing heroes.
Great racer.
Gets a hug from Adam Andretti. We see JD Coos winning the GT class in the background there.
All right, Ben, some happy drivers down there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, down here at Jim Weed Winner's Circle, and fittingly, our Jim Weed driver with that athletic focused drink is Chris Dyson, who we just saw get a huge congratulations with his, semi-teammate? I don't know how we even describe that. Dyson, man, what a fight out there.
Wow, I mean, Ben, so great. I mean, look at the 21 car parked here. What a great run for Adam. 1-2 for the team. This Jim Weed car was so hooked up today. I mean, we made some changes overnight. I am pumped after this one. I mean, about 3 weeks ago, I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to drive. And to be coming back here and set fast lap last week, have a great fight with Paul, and come back here with a win. A lot in between. just so grateful to God and the team here and all my family at home supporting. Love you guys, and it's great to have Jim Weed car back here in Jim Weed Winner's Circle. Amen.
I love it. Chris Dyson, how about that? And that's right, at Jim Weed Winner's Circle. Got to come over and talk to Adam. Look at the back of his car, how dirty that is. Unbelievable. But Masood, you gave him a good beast. Unbelievable. I saw you get out and give a big, teammate congratulations to Dyson. And that's kind of a weird thing. You've been competitors all season, but you guys came together and put this together. Adam, I love the hustle. How was your race?
Unbelievable. This was absolutely best case scenario for us, and I can't thank Chris Dyson enough. First of all, class of the field was this 16 car, just far and away, and he did an awesome job. Never put a wheel wrong all weekend long. Proud to bring this 1-2 home, but again, back home to that Burton Racing group. I know you're watching. We're in this thing still, and God bless all of you back home, and thank you all for making this possible and keeping us in this hunt, because this championship fight is real. And it got even more real today, and I got nothing but love and thank you for the Lord and Jesus Christ and what he does for us and as our group and this top liner brand. And again, Burton Racing, Claudio, the whole gang back home, love you, miss you, see you soon.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Well, I see Paul Menard coming over here to talk to Dyson. We got to get a shot of this because Menard, I think, fell back after the thing at 2. I think he fell back to like 7th or 8th and then somehow crossed the line about a front fender ahead of Dreesy to get on the podium. And it's things like that that help you win championships. So that was hard fought.
It was, we had a great car to fire off, and it was a lot of fun racing with Chris. And we had those restarts, and he just opened the door a little bit, so I tried sticking my nose in, then he closed it, and I just kind of spun myself out like a dummy. So a lot of fun coming up back up through the field. I hate that happened, but we still got a podium.
Yeah, and good points, and you're running for a championship. You know how to win championships, so it's just every little point counts, doesn't it?
Yeah, every little bit helps. Every race finish helps. We've knock on wood, we've finished a lot of races and collected a lot of points in doing so. So good weekend, good West Coast trip. Hate we didn't win the race, but we'll try to go get them in Lime Rock and keep these podiums going.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Paul Menard, 3rd, but I got to come back here to Ken Sutherland, who's being interviewed by his wife right now, so we might want to just eavesdrop on that. But Ken Sutherland, TA Cup in the Mopar. How was it out there?
Sorry. It was awesome. It was awesome. I'm so happy for our team. We dang near won it at Buttonwillow. We should have won it last week in Sonoma, and we did it. I've been wanting to get Pat McFall another win. I think this is 28 or 29. He's not counting, but I guess I am. But that's 29 victories for him in his career. So I've been wanting to get him one for a while, and we did it in dominating fashion. The car was so awesome. The guys, every time I came in and wanted something different, they made an adjustment and did exactly what I asked them to, and that's Jefferson, Jerry Pitts, Chris Evans Race Cars. They're just awesome guys and a great group to work with. So thanks to Pat McFall, to Patty and Kurt Kahlberg for letting me drive their car, and for my beautiful wife standing right here.
Nice. I love it. Nice job. Now, what's the deal with the throwing the water at the car? Is that a celebration or something?
I was trying to slam it on the ground, look cool, but I missed the mark there.
Well, I got in your way. I'm sorry about that. But Kahlberg's over here like, what are you doing to my car? Yeah. How do you feel about that?
We're awful happy, and we couldn't have a better driver than Sutherland. And we want to also thank Jefferson Racing and Chris Evans, because what a great series, and this is the future. So we really appreciate Trans Am. Thank you.
I love it. So if I grow a cool mustache like you guys, can I be a Kahlberg? Can I be in one of your cars?
We'll have to vote on that, but you got a chance.
I have a chance, yeah. 1 in a million. That's still a chance. Back to you guys up in the booth.
And Paul Menard did 2 things today, Andy. First, if you want to learn how to make a last lap pass under braking, that was it at 11. Perfectly executed. The second thing is champions maximize their good days, minimize their best. He did that exactly here today. He's very much alive in this championship. All right, we got more coming your way here on Speed Sport 1.
Rev up
up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance, priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
Well, we are back here in Laguna Seca getting ready for the podium. We should point out it was the 27th victory for Chris Dyson. He moves to 4th, one behind
Tommy Kendall.
The great Tommy Kendall. And what a stat that is, Ben, as we head to our Jim Weed Winner's Circle to hand out some awards.
Here we go, guys. All right, there we go. Mission Foods Laguna Seca Speed Tour. We are about to have an absolute party here at the Jim Weed Winner's Circle. I like this. I like this. Yeah. I like the kind of out-of-control crowds. Feel free to heckle me if I get something wrong. This is supposed to be fun. We're going to start with the Western Championship Super GT. So, Laguna Seca, let's hear how loud you can get. In second place, let's bring up Rudy Revac. Where is Rudy? Rudy missed our last podium. Come on, Rudy. Don't do this 2 times in a row. I don't know if this Rudy guy exists. I saw his car. Yeah, there's a chant named after that. In first place, he has only raced 3 races with us, so let's hear it. J.D. Coos in that beautiful Porsche Cup car. Come on, Laguna. We can get a little bit louder than that. JD, I don't know what it is about Rudy. He must be scared of you because he doesn't like coming up here to the winner's circle with you. You know, you were alone up here last time because Rudy didn't show up, but this time you were on the top step. I don't know. Where is Rudy? But, man, exactly. Take the mic. Tell us about your race out there.
It was good. That was the most green I've had in a Trans Am race, so I think I need to work on my conditioning. That was pretty amazing. I was just happy to be able to hang with those guys a little bit and watch some of the lines of some of the much more experienced TA guys. Hopefully I stayed out of the way. Those guys have a lot more power than me. But it was really fun just hitting those braking zones. Rudy and I, the guy who was behind me in that Pontiac, had a really good race. In fact, he passed me going into the kink right before Rahal Straight. And then he went off there, and I think he got dirt on his tires. He came back on because I saw him in the rearview mirror, but that's why he went off in the corkscrew. So that was fun. I actually got to truly race that guy, and he did a great job pushing me, and apparently I guess I was pushing him too. So super happy about that.
Nice. How about that? J.D. Coos. Nice job. There we go. Come on, Laguna Seca. Let's get a little bit louder. J.D. Coos up here all alone because Rudy didn't show up for some reason, but in the Porsche car. They had to do some fixing on that car, too, since last weekend. So they had about, 3 days to fix it and then come right back here. You've got champagne, too. Come on, one more time. JD Koo, Super GT Western Championship. There we go. He actually gets to enjoy it. JD, nice job. Keep this energy up, Laguna Seca, because new class. This has been really fun to watch. TA Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, third place in the number 72. Let's hear for Michelle Nagai. Come on up here, Michelle. Oh, watch out. She will run you over if you are in her way. Trust me. Come on, Michelle Nagai, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, Michelle, on fire. I love it. Nice job. In second place, this dude has competed in the Indy 500. He won the Indy race at Phoenix. He won last week's TA Cup race at Sonoma. Let's hear it. Guthrie's Garage. Let's hear it for Jim Guthrie. And then, ladies and gentlemen, maybe the best mustache in motorsports. He's been with us for many years, but this is his first season with us in TA Cup. On the top step, let's hear Kahlberg Racing, Ken Sutherland from Sherwood, Oregon. Man, this is fun. All my friends are up here on the podium. Michelle, I'm sure you've got some sponsors to thank, but first, tell us about your race.
Yeah, it was a great battle, I must say. Me and Jim had a little door-to-door action. Seen him sideways in two. Said, don't touch him. Get around. Get through this. Let's finish this deal. We haven't had a good finish in a while. We have the speed and the pace, but we haven't had that part of the puzzle. So we'll take it.
Nice. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, of course. Mike at Naked Motorsports. The whole crew there. Tony Caputo, everybody that put this car together. Rick, our engine guy. Everybody out there at the Naked Motorsports. And my husband, Steve Nagai, putting up with me. Thanks, babe.
Nice. How about that? Michelle Nagai. Then over here, Jim Guthrie, back on the podium. That's got to feel good. How was your race out there?
Woo! I couldn't even see his taillights. He was gone. So it was a long day. I made a couple of bad choices, picked the wrong lane on the restart, and kind of gave myself some bad track position. But you know what? I had a heck of a good time. It's fun racing with these guys, and I love these cars. So thanks for coming out, everybody.
Says thanks for coming out, everybody. All right. Mustache of Motorsports, take the mic. Tell us about your race.
You know, I went into this race saying I was just going to have some fun, and I didn't care the result, and I didn't know it was going to be this much fun. The car was so freaking awesome. I'm so happy for our team and our group of people that make that car go, Jefferson Racing and Chris Evans Race Cars, Jerry Pitts, Kurt and Patty Kahlberg, my wife and daughter have helped me. My friend Will Schrader, who's there spotting for me, Pat McFall, which is a 28-time, 29, I don't know exactly, Trans Am victor over the years, and I was just happy to give him one more. So great day, and thank you to Trans Am for a great race and everybody to come out and watch. It was awesome.
All right, let's have a celebration, Laguna Seca. Look at Chris. Hold those trophies up. Let's hear it. Michelle Nagai, Jim Guthrie, and Ken Sutherland. I have a feeling we're going to see these three on the podium quite a bit this year. And you're free to throw those hats out if you want. You don't have to. Who wants Jim Guthrie's? Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, look at that. Man. You guys got some arms. All right, come on, Laguna Seca. Get loud. Michelle Nagai, Jim Guthrie, Ken Sutherland. Yeah, hold it up so we can see the numbers. There you go. There you go. Come on now. Yeah, you want to give away some Jim Weed? Yeah, take a few. There we go. Nice, Laguna Seca. Now watch out. I doubt these competitors will be friendly. It's like they were asking permission. One more time, Michelle Nagai, Jim Guthrie, Ken Sutherland. That was the weirdest thing. You guys were so polite at first, and then you just went for murder. That was amazing. Nice job. You got some, mimosa, a Jim Weed mimosa, she says. It's not morning, though. All right. I'm glad I had glasses on. National Super GT Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to get really loud for this guy. Drove all the way out from Iowa to win this race 2 in a row. Let's hear it. Josh Carlson, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Carlson may be the only professional race car driver who also is a door dasher. So if you order DoorDash in Iowa, this dude might deliver it to you. Josh, take the mic. Tell us about your race.
It was fun. You know, we didn't really have the car dialed in how I wanted to, but I was just trying to say how the... It's on. Got it. Okay. I was trying to say how the TA Cup guys race. They were racing really hard, but had a lot of fun out there, and really want to thank my dad and my grandpa for hauling me out here so I can race. And then I got to thank some of my guests that showed up. We got Will, Matt, Jared, Randall, Dale, and John. I wrote out my hand. So thank you guys for coming out. I hope you guys had fun. And I want to thank my sponsors and Steve, All Test, Dirk's LTD. Wouldn't be racing without them. And looking forward to the next one.
All right, Josh, nice job. 2 in a row for Josh Carlson, running for the Super GT National Championship. Come on, Laguna Seca, we can get a little bit louder than that. Josh Carlson. There we go. Woo, that was a humdinger. Josh Carlson, Super GT with the Enceva Ford Mustang. Come on, Laguna, keep it up. It's scary to be up here by yourself. And then he gets sparkling water. Josh, nice job, man. All right, like I said, this is going to be fun. I met one of my favorite characters in my absolute favorite TV show, so thanks for coming out. We love that. Unbelievable. TA National. Some huge names here, guys. Listen to this in motorsports. Started out in first, had a little bit of an off, went back to like 8th, came back, and within beat, got on the podium by about 3 feet at the start-finish line. Let's hear it. Pittsburgh, Painting, Staines, Menards. Let's hear for Paul Menard. And get loud, people. His family's here. That was maybe the hardest fought podium finish we've seen in Trans Am in quite some time. Now, this dude, he had a really bad wreck at one of the scariest turns on our season at Sonoma last week. There is no quit in this guy. A fellow competitor in the team and the championship offered another car with Dyson Racing. So running the top liner, Ford Mustang, with Dyson Racing and Burton Racing. Let's hear it. Adam Andretti, ladies and gentlemen. Some big names here in this podium at Laguna Seca. And then, ladies and gentlemen, a many-time champion at TA. There's been a couple of Dyson cars running around all weekend. But the winner here at Jim Weed Winner's Circle is the Jim Weed Athletic Focus drink right here, Chris Dyson. Ladies and gentlemen. Adam Andretti, Paul Menard, watch out, because I think Chris Dyson is back. Love seeing him back. Top form. Unbelievable. So, Paul, you were really fast out there, and it's just one of those things racing, but I don't know how you did it to come back the way you did and kind of stay in this championship hunt. How was your race?
Eventful. Had a lot of fun. The car's been fast all weekend. We spent yesterday just learning the track, and now we got a race under my belt. We can go to work on. I was just kind of pushy. Then I got really loose on hot tires, but I learned a lot during the race today. Obviously, just making laps. And Chris, classic Chris Dyson, just fast on long runs, always there. Doesn't make mistakes. I boogered up turn 11. He got a run on me, and everything was clean. And that restart, he opened the door, and I was kind of going for it. Then the door shut, and I just spun myself out, just locked it down, and a lot of fun going back through the field, though. Good podium, good points, and move on.
Nice. Now, first time at Laguna Seca. How about a welcome to Paul Menard at Laguna Seca? Funny story, his Menard stock car from his NASCAR days is over there. It's running this weekend. But first time over the corkscrew, you got to be thinking, is this for real?
Yeah, I mean, I was here in 1990. I was 10 years old, and I remember watching Indy cars at the Corkscrew, and fast forward 35 years or whatever it is, and here we are. But, yeah, Scott Pruitt actually helped me out a lot. We spent a day together about 2 or 3 weeks ago on the iRace, and he gave me all the visuals because it is absolutely blind. He told me which tree to point my car at, and he was dead on.
Nice. I love it. Well, how about that? Paul Menard, warm welcome to Laguna Seca. He said next time he comes back, he's going to know some stuff. Adam Andretti, dude, Tabitha, your last, 6 days, super eventful, but you're here, you're on the podium, still running for the championship against the guy that gave you a car. So just crazy camaraderie. But tell me about your race.
Well, that's going to wrap up our coverage from here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. For Ben Sissel and Andy Lally, congratulations to Paul Menard, Adam Andretti, and our winner in the Trans Am presented by Pirelli, Chris Dyson. I'm Ralph Sheheen. So long, everybody.
Racing suits. We had some special guests here with us this weekend, so I think they're stuck. They can't. They got to go to races from now on, all of them, because that was pretty amazing 1-2 performance from CD Racing, and this guy right here, unbelievable. Doesn't put a wheel wrong. Just a really super smart racer, and I'm just again blessed that I got to look at his data this weekend. So thank you for all that, and thank you to these fans, amazing fans here. We love our West Coast fans. We love coming to Laguna Seca, so thank you to everybody.
Nice. How about that? Adam Andretti. He's fast in a car, and he's long on speeches. I love it. Dyson. Dyson is back, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. Take the mic. Tell me about your race.
You got to go longer than me.
I am not going to go longer than Adam. I'm just going to say that this feels so good, just being back here racing. I mean, after Sebring, there was a real trip into the unknown for me. I mean, it was a long road to get back to this point. I'm just so grateful for my family and for my team and everybody on the whole squad for pulling me through some tough times. You know, you have some doubt and you get a little bit afraid that you may not be able to get back to it. I'm really grateful that I pushed really hard to get my conditioning back up. These cars are physical to drive. Paul and I have had 2 great weekends of racing. I'm looking forward to the rest of the year of all the battles. Happy to have Adam here with Claudio Burton's top liner program coming on board for this weekend. It's a 1-2 for CD Racing, so I couldn't be happier for that. And that Jim Weed car is back in Jim Weed Winner's Circle, and I'm happy, and I'm really happy for these guys. They've worked really hard. We're from New York. This is a long way to go. It's hard to put into words, but I am so grateful and so thankful for everybody that got me here and got me back here. Great place to race. This is one of the true gems of American racing here at Laguna Seca, and I'm thrilled that we're back on the West Coast. Thank you very much.
How about that? He might have won, Adam. He might have won. That was close. That was close. Come on now. Laguna Seca, we've got some absolute legends up here. Paul Menard, first time at Laguna Seca. Adam Andretti, Chris Dyson. How about that? This is the Cool Box gift certificates. So Paul Menard gets $150. Adam Andretti $250. Chris Dyson $500. How about that? Round of applause for Cool Box, the iceless driver cooling system. Hey, Larry, thank you for coming, dude. It's such an honor. So cool. So cool. All right, who wants a hat? You got to be loud for a hat, though. There we go. Ooh, there we go. Dyson. There we go. All right, guys. They've all got their Jim Weed. We're going to be giving away Jim Weed after this, just in a couple of minutes. Let's hear it. Paul Menard, Adam Andretti, Chris Dyson, here at the Jim Weed Winner's Circle. Sorry, Seth. Uh-oh. What's going to happen? Ladies and gentlemen, Come on now, Laguna Seca, let's get loud. Mission Foods, Laguna Seca Speed Tour. Oh, look at that. They're being a little bit friendly, you know. One for the homies, Chris Dyson. Paul and I. Where's Bo and Remy? Are they out there somewhere? Remy's working on her homework. Oh, Remy's doing her homework. All right, Lady Well, hold on. Let me make sure I've got everything. MCO, we good? We're good. All right. That does it for the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli. Come on up here, get some gym weed, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out. We've got some SVR8 cars coming up here next.
Take a look at the schedule of where we're headed next. As we've been saying, we're on our way to Lime Rock Park, Connecticut. The Trans Am Series by Pirelli will take place on Monday, May 26th. You can catch the TA2 category action, Cube 3 Architecture TA2 on Saturday, May 24th, I should say, May 24th. And it'll be a great weekend there at Lime Rock Park. We hope you'll join us for all the action there. For Ben Sissel and Andy Lally, I'm Ralph Sheheen. Congratulations to Chris Dyson, Adam Andretti, and Paul Menard, our top three here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. So long, everybody.